Harry Wilson, Wales's number 8 captain and quite possibly main man for them tonight. The team's out very shortly here at the Cardiff City Stadium. Nathan Blake and Danny Gabbidon getting ready for them. You'll remember, guys, of course, we talked about that Euro 2016 match against Northern Ireland. This is the 7th meeting in the last 22 years, though. Also played them in a friendly here in March 2016, a 1-1 draw, which saw Simon Church equalise just before the end, a penalty on a pouring night of rain here. And 2 games, Danny, you should remember, you played in them. The 2011 2-0 win in Dublin, the old Nations Cup. Do you remember that one?
Yes, yeah, Rob Earnshaw scored, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also a very fiery game in the 2006 World Cup qualifying campaign. 2004, the autumn of that year, it was the Robbie Savage red card game.
Yeah.
And Northern Ireland down to 9 men, actually.
Sav getting involved in a little scuffle, no surprises there. But look,
know how tough he is.
Well, look, I mean, we talk about this one being kind of a dead rubber tonight, but it won't be a dead rubber for that kind of reason. You know, the players, both sets of players kind of know each other. They come up against each other domestically throughout the season, and there's always a bit of an edge to these games, so I would expect that to be there tonight, even though these are 2 teams coming off massive disappointment. And again, I think you look at it as individuals as a player as well. Every player in the squad is at a different kind of stage really in their career. So individually, there's players playing tonight who this will mean a lot to. You know, the likes of Joel Colwell in there tonight. What an opportunity for him. Lewis Kumas is another one. You know, I made my international debut in a so-called dead rubber against the Czech Republic at the old Millennium Stadium there, and to me it was like it's the biggest achievement in my footballing career at that time. So every player is kind of different, has different agendas. There's always something different to play for each individual. So really looking forward to seeing those 2 youngsters in particular start tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Nick, because Lewis Kumas is having a decent season on loan with Hull in the Championship, having been at Birmingham previously, following in the footsteps of some real legends to wear the number 9 shirt. Ian Rush, Mark Hughes, John Charles. We've got the Celtic war horn in the background, by the way, the usual pre-match sound. Did you wear the 9 shirt as well for Wales?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Absolutely, there we go then. So Lewis Kumas.
I think I got one or 2 hanging up at home. Yeah, listen, it's a great honour, as simple as that. You look at the players who've won it before you, the likes of Mark Hughes and Dean Saunders and Ian Rush and what have you. So, you know, it's a huge honour. But I think Danny makes some great points there about, you know, for some players it is not their debut, but to get another opportunity to play for your country and get another cap and a bit more experience, regardless of the circumstances. It's a huge night for them.
Yeah, because I mean, Danny, you know, I just wonder who can boost their status tonight. The previous friendlies in the autumn against England and Canada maybe didn't really result in many breaking through into Bellamy's first choice team. Can anyone here make a compelling case, do you think?
Quite possibly. You know, you're looking at players kind of maybe coming off the bench as well. You know, there's a lot of kind of youth on the bench, so you know, maybe a Kai Andrews who's been in and around the squad a few times and played obviously 21s. He's sitting on the bench tonight. Might he get an opportunity? You're looking at young Ronan Capacchio, who's had a little taste of international football as well, and obviously the 2 in the starting 11 that I mentioned. So yeah, I mean, as Craig kind of said, you know, the future is bright. You know, we've got so many talented kind of young players kind of coming through, and maybe you saw a little bit of that lack of experience maybe on Thursday night, but how do you gain that experience? It's by getting more games, it's by getting more minutes, it's by, you know, playing in these kind of big occasions. And you know, Nathan will tell you, or maybe not so much Nathan, because you started most of the time in a Wales shirt, but you don't quite feel part of it. You know, when you're in the squad and you're not really playing, you're not getting minutes, it's great, but when a team's winning, but you don't quite feel like you've contributed unless you're starting and influencing the game. So like I said, for some players tonight, you're getting an opportunity. It's massive for them, and then it's up to them to go out there and impress the manager, execute with a performance.
Harry Wilson leads out Wales then. Trey Hume leads out Northern Ireland, the 2 losing teams from Thursday's playoff semi-finals. This was not how Wales wanted to end the month. They wanted to bounce into next month as a World Cup team. No April Fools, just winners prepping for a summer in the States. But it's not to be. Instead, we have a friendly here on BBC Radio Wales. And before the game, we have the anthems, an all-British clash.
Please remain standing for the national anthem company. Come on, company, sing it loud, sing it proud.
So a slightly more muted rendition of Henglav and Hardai here inside the Cardiff City Stadium. Not completely empty though. Can't see that many empty seats here, but certainly not the sellout that it was on Thursday. God Save the King, meanwhile, pretty much smothered out by the Wales supporters. Before kick-off then, let's hear from the Wales boss, talking to our colleagues on Match of the Day Wales. 5 changes made tonight by Craig Bellamy.
No, always to freshen it up, but also it gives us the opportunity of 1 or 2 players we really wanted to see, and we need to expose to as well. We need to expose them to this level. So, and also they've earned it in training. They've been with us for camps, and this is the ideal moment to play them.
You've said it's been a tough couple of days, but I guess at some point, you know, you've got to switch focus, haven't you, onto this game today. What have you said to the players about this tonight?
No, it's like, look, if you want excuses, you can have all the excuses in the world, but average teams and average people have excuses. They want to use the excuses right now. We're not. We can't be. So there's no excuses. It's like we haven't got games to waste. We don't have that luxury. No international team has that luxury. So for us, it's like we're a good team. Be a good team tonight.
You've got the opportunity to make up to 11 substitutes. If you're
stranger.
Well, yeah, it makes
3 moments to do it in.
Right, okay, but it gives you a busier evening. Have you been able to work out what you want to do in terms of that?
We will definitely make changes on it, which I'm definitely sure Ireland will. We'll look to use the bench as well, because a lot of players have given a lot to us as well, and don't get the opportunity to play. So it's very important, because they're valued highly by us, that we'll look for those moments as well. But that's if it's possible.
So do not waste the opportunity. That is the message from Craig Bellamy then ahead of this friendly against Northern Ireland. There could be a lot of changes for Mark Poyser, Danny Gabbidon and Nathan Blake to keep on top of. It's BBC Radio Wales and BBC Sounds. No playoff final, but a friendly, and it's a Battle of Britain consolation to enjoy. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ian. Good evening, everyone. I could do with some long answers, I think, from Nathan and Danny, if it comes to it, with those substitutions later. It is not the prestige height match that we all wanted. The stadium not as full, the roar slightly quieter than it was 5 days ago. But the cycle starts in earnest for the next tournament, a home tournament at that, Euro 2028, where matches will be played down the road at the Principality Stadium. And this is a home nations derby. It always has an edge when it comes to that. 2 nations still smarting from a semi-final defeat. The only way to lift the gloom is victory this evening. It will be the visitors, Northern Ireland, in the white shirts, the green shorts and white socks, who will get the game underway. We're still under daylight. We're into that wonderful time of the year. We've had a lovely warm spring afternoon. The temperature, though, I can tell you, is dropping rapidly under greying, damp skies above, as we pause For what, the thumbs up from the television director. Everyone is stood looking around at each other. The referee, Rob Hennessy, who is from Southern Ireland, is waiting for his cue. Wales to the left of the halfway line, all in red, waiting like the rest of us to get this game underway. Check of the watch from the official in black, and at last we have the whistle, and at last we're underway. Wales against Northern Ireland. It goes straight back to the goalkeeper Conor Hazard, who hammers it downfield, and it's nodded out of play in the opening seconds for a Northern Ireland throw. If you weren't with us earlier, Wales all in red with the thick white stripes on the sleeves. They have the green hoop around the chest. They have Darlow in goal, Williams, Roden, Cabango and De Silva, Sheehan and Colwell the midfield holders, with Kumas, Wilson and Thomas behind Brennan Johnson, who will lead the line. A man who missed a penalty, as did the man clearing the ball there, Nico Williams, up towards the halfway line. Northern Ireland get it back and go to their goalkeeper Conor Hazard, who is one of 5 changes for them as well from their defeat in Bergamo. They sent 4 players home back to their clubs, and they attack for the first time wide on the far right, level to the edge of the Wales penalty area. A challenge is made by De Silva, and he can clear upfield, but there's no outlet, nobody on the halfway line, so they have Hazard in goal. Hume is the captain, Toll and Brown, formerly of Cardiff City, of this parish, they're a back 3. Devlin, Charles, Galbraith of Swansea and Devaney, and then a front 3 of Kelly and Price, either side of Jamie Donnelly, one of a number of Oxford United players in this Northern Ireland team. Oxford, one of Blackburn's big rivals in the relegation battle at the foot of the Championship, one that the Northern Ireland manager Michael O'Neill is going straight back into. This dual role that he has. Wales get a free kick and take it quickly on the halfway line. We have played nearly 2 minutes here on BBC Radio Wales. It is goalless as Wales attack.
Don't feel like you need to bring us in. You carry on there.
That's normally I leave a silence for one of you to come in.
I'll tell you what, it's not been a bad start for Northern Ireland, all because Conor Hazard, the Northern Ireland goalkeeper, well, I think he might be icing his thigh at the end of this game, because the ball's gone back to him 3-4 times and there's no interest in kind of playing out. He's just booming the ball forward, and Northern Ireland done quite a good job of picking up the second ball, and Wales just haven't been able to kind of get the ball down and get any control possession. They've just got the ball here now and are looking to do that now, just building up from the back here.
Well, this is Brooks. He must have been a late change. He wasn't on my team sheet. Just spotted that. So looking around, there is no Brennan Johnson. David Brooks starts instead. 3 minutes gone, 0-0. Sheehan on the ball. It means Kumas is playing as the most advanced striker. Here he is, corner of the penalty, looking lively and winning Wales's first corner after 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a good start, hasn't it, from Wales. Both teams, in fairness, quite a high tempo to the game. First 3 or 4 minutes. Sure, a goal to settle Wales down. A nice rhythm.
And Wilson, the captain, will take it from this near right side. It's curled in, it's a decent delivery as well, and it goes right through. I think it took an Irish touch on the way, the referee agrees. And it will be a corner on the opposite side, right into that 6-yard box it went. And Ireland, in front of that very small band of supporters, have defending to do. Oh, I heard our Irish colleague before the game tell us that the Northern Ireland Football Association have offered refunds to all the supporters, and many of whom have taken it. There could only be a very small number, all trying to put Sorba Thomas off over on that far left. It's taken short to Wilson and then De Silva. He eventually gets it in towards the penalty area looking for Kumas, and they've cleared it behind for a third successive corner in the opening 4 minutes.
Yeah, they worked the corner really well there. Yeah. The short one, which doesn't normally work, and you could argue it didn't work because he hits the first man, Jake De Silva, but they work it well. get him with time and space across the ball. I thought he was outstanding actually Thursday night, Jay Da Silva. I thought he played really well. Needs to do a little bit better with the cross there under no pressure.
Thomas curls it in, and it's headed away this time on the edge of the 6-yard box. Da Silva with a really deft header back towards the halfway line, and Williams will find Darlow in yellow. First goal in the World Cup playoff finals. Czech Republic lead Denmark by a 0-0, and Scotland are 1-0 down to the Ivory Coast. That one is being played in Liverpool. Also friendlies for England and the Republic of Ireland, which we will keep an eye on here on BBC Radio Wales. We are on until the late show with Larry Shawn at 10 o'clock. And there are plenty of blue seats dotted around this Stadium Bowl, and one or two as well in the top tier. That double-decker Ninian stand across from us there, red and white. Not quite the packed sellout we would have had, no doubt, had it been a final against Italy, as that's an aimless crossfield pass which sails behind for a Northern Ireland goal kick, and it's 0-0.
I'll tell you what I'm really pleased about seeing, just looking at Wales' setup as well, boys. Lewis Koumas is playing centrally as a striker.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that is his best position. If you look at his kind of career to date, he's played a lot of games, even on loan to the different clubs he's been at, wide, on the left, on the right, and I don't think you get the best out of him. No. I think he's a central striker, so great opportunity for him tonight leading the line.
Also interested in that Charles Galbraith, Sheehan and Caldwell battle in that central midfield, because the four of them haven't moved probably 10 yards from each other yet.
The voices of Nathan Blake and Danny Gabbard on here on BBC Radio Wales. Brooks tries to help it round the corner for the on-rushing Nico Williams. Northern Ireland get it back, they give it away to Koumas, who nips in and cuts in and shoots instantly, and it's saved by the goalkeeper. Real direct play from the man that Danny and Nathan were just talking about, Lewis Koumas. No messing about there from the Hull City striker.
Right on cue, that's why they paid me the big bucks, boys. Mind you, I said on Thursday, I think I said something before the goal as well. We conceded something about we got to defend crosses better or something, and then they ended up scoring. But that's what he's all about there, though, just latching onto a loose ball, and looks like he's going to shoot on his right foot. Lewis Koumas just drags the ball onto his left, creates a half yard of space, gets the strike away, which I think takes a little bit of a deflection, forces the save from Conor Hazard.
He got it, shifted it inside, shot straight away. And that's the closest anyone has come in the opening 7.5 minutes. It is 0-0 in what unfortunately says on a big red banner bang on the halfway line across from us, an international challenge match rather than the World Cup playoff final. And as the sky darkens, there's a hint of rain in the air. A win this evening for either of these nations would give them a spring in their step going into the summer friendlies. We know Wales will play Ghana here on June the 2nd. There may well be another friendly at the start of that month before the Nations League begins in earnest in September. Portugal the holders, the first match. This is Ben Cabango for Wales. Carl Darlow is way out of his goal. Midway point in Wales's half, gets it up to the halfway line. Ireland, no intention to press high. They're letting Wales have it inside their own half. And now Roden with a finger strapping on his left hand to Williams. And that ball will go all the way through to the goalkeeper. And that is comfortable for Conor Hazard of Plymouth Argyle. Ireland attack. No sooner do they get the ball, it's given back to Nico Williams. And Wales have it once more, this time inside their own penalty area with Ben Cabango. And now Joe Roden, who's up to 60 caps now. Harry Wilson this evening moving above the great Ivor Oldchurch with his 69th. He is now the 17th most capped male footballer in Wales history, and he wears the captain's armband this evening, the number 8. Ireland are happy to let Wales have the ball, standing right off them.
Bit of that from both teams, right? I don't think it's a bad thing for Wales to, get your shape sorted when you're out of possession.
He looked for Sorba Thomas there while Nathan was talking, but Ireland are able to clear, but only clear to the midway point inside their own half. They just about keep it in on the far side in front of the Ninian stand, whose light shining ever brighter as the sky gets darker, and Wales win it back. This is Wilson spinning just inside the Northern Ireland half to Williams, back to Wilson, but again everyone in white and green is behind the ball, and Wales retreat to the halfway line and then lose it, and Galbraith will try and set Price away, but he's never favourite to win that, and Darlow will clear.
Yeah, he read it well though, didn't he, Galbraith? Good interception, good anticipation, just overhit the pass in behind for his mate.
It's a little bit Bosnia-like, I'd say, from Northern Ireland, in terms of, they just sat in their shape. They're almost waiting for that ball into midfield, that tight one, sat in their shape, and then they look to pounce on the counter-attack. They've, they don't overplay too much. They're trying to get physical with those second balls, win those second balls. They'll go back to front quickly, as we see here, cross-field ball. And I think it's about Wales again, being patient, trying to break the opposition down.
And this is Price, wide to Devaney, now on this near left for Northern Ireland. They're in the Wales half. Devaney again, and Price again. He switches it cross-field, and there's a player out there if they can collect it, but
poor
he
touch.
has it taken off his toes. It was Terry Devlin there, and De Silva just whipped in and took it away from him.
His touch is better there, Mark. He's in a great position. It was a beautiful switch of play.
If the band strikes into life for the first time this evening, we have played 12 minutes at a Cardiff City Stadium where the temperature is dropping.
I have to say, great turnout by the fans, by the way. And you consider, I think Northern Ireland had sold 3,000, and I think they ended up with 300, something like that.
Well, there's a big block of empty seats, but that's only in the away end. There are empty seats, but they're scattered around. But it's fairly sizable crowd. And after all the talk of this is the game that nobody wants, it's still a full international, and as both of you said just before the game, for someone like a Lewis Koumas or any of the players who are maybe on the bench who might come on, there are not many opportunities to play international football for your country with the dragon on your chest.
It certainly isn't, and you're never quite sure in the future when your next cap's going to come, so no, there is no greater honour than playing for your country. Not every player is fortunate enough to kind of do that, so you have to understand the privilege that you have and take every game seriously.
It is 0-0. Wales enjoying 63% possession in these opening quarter of an hour. Thomas shuffles in on the halfway line for Wales. The socks roll down his shins. The dreadlock ponytail out to Brooks on the near side. He goes round the outside on the right, backheels it into the path of Nico Williams. Back on the halfway line once more as Wales will be patient and probe again. Joel Colwell, he is one with a huge opportunity, only his second cap, made his debut down the M4 at the Swansea.com stadium in September against Canada.
Good player. Be a regular in another year or two. Stays free from injury. Really good player.
I think he would have had a really big chance of playing with his brother possibly tonight as well. Disappointing for Ruben, obviously, his brother to pull out the squad. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? So
he and Jordan James are not involved this evening. They're back with their clubs.
I'm sure he would have had an opportunity tonight. A lot of people have been calling for Ruben to get more minutes. in that Wales shirt, so yeah, always disappointing when you miss out through injury.
And both the Colwell's parent club, Cardiff City, don't have a game on Good Friday, as Port Vale are still in the FA Cup. That is this weekend. You can watch some of the games live on BBC television. You can watch this one live on BBC One Wales right now. We're also on FM, DAB, digital television, 882 on medium wave, and on the BBC Sounds app. If you download that to your smartphone or tablet, you can take us out and about whatever you're doing this Tuesday night. This is Wilson for Wales, trying to find a breakthrough after 15 minutes. Thomas is surely coming back from an offside position, and the assistant on the near side does indeed raise his flag.
Well, apart from that Lewis Kumas chance, which kind of came from Northern Ireland giving the ball away, we've been probing, patient in possession, but don't look to really have any ideas as of yet how to break this Northern Ireland team down. Not really got the kind of the front players in those kind of positions that you want to see them. We've not really been able to kind of play any balls through the lines, those penetrating passes to get those forward players in those dangerous positions. Northern Ireland just kind of sat there really in that shape, just saying come and break us down, and don't quite have the answers yet with a quarter of an hour gone.
Yeah, I think it's largely as well, Dan, to do with the magnitude of the game. You know, you've got Harry Wilson who's trying to get in behind Kumas from time to time, but then Joe Colwell is just starting to make some more penetrating runs, and leaving Sheehan in there on his own, which I think is definitely something that needs to happen.
Cross into the Wales penalty. It's gone right through. Everyone left it, the defenders and the goalkeeper and the attackers, and it sails, thankfully, for Craig Bellamy's men behind for a goal kick. But that was a wicked delivery in from Isaac Price.
Oh, it had chocolate on it, didn't it? That was so sweet.
And your eyes were lit up there,
I just had to wipe the dribble off my chin there. Dan, salivating.
We saw Silver Thomas put like 3 or 4 of them in on Thursday night, and the same kind of outcome, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, for a Kiefer Moore on Thursday on the end of one of those. A goal in the playoff final that these nations hope to be in. Italy lead in Zenica by a 0-0 against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Moise Keane with the goal. He also scored against Northern Ireland. So Italy, the 4-time winners, ahead, aiming to avoid missing out on a 3rd successive World Cup. The Czech Republic also ahead, still goalless between Kosovo and Turkey, and Sweden and Poland. Goalless here in Cardiff. Wales against Northern Ireland, and it's the visitors with a free kick just in from the halfway line, over on the far right. And it's Shea Charles who will take it. It's flicked into the penalty area, hooked away by Ben Cabango. Scuttling back to the halfway line is Justin Devaney, and he finds Galbraith, who will glide forward towards the corner of the penalty area on the near left side. Ireland on the attack as they kick towards that Canton stand. And they've worked it back though to the halfway line. They're happy to keep hold of the ball, and Galbraith now is the furthest player back. He's been playing a lot at right back for Swansea City of late, and then his pass is intercepted by Brooks, and he pinches it before Devaney, but he can't keep it in, and it's a throw in to Northern Ireland. Just half a chance, and Brooks scowls as he walks back towards the halfway line.
Yeah, Galbraith there just not quite sure of his options. A lot of players kind of ahead of the ball, didn't have too many options, and he looks to play that square one, doesn't quite put enough purchase on the pass, and David Brooks almost able to nick in there, just couldn't keep it in play.
Bit of overconfidence there, Dan, wasn't it? They're overplaying. Should have just gone back to his keeper and got up the pitch.
They're still searching for the first goal. Northern Ireland, who have lost 5 of their last 6 away games. They've failed to score in 5 of the last 9. Wales have kept 1 clean sheet in their last 7 home games, and that was against the might of Liechtenstein. It's goalless at the moment. And Ireland happy to have the ball on the halfway line. Knight has completely descended now above us, and that through ball just carries harmlessly to Carl Darlow, who's very much made the goalkeeping position his own now at the ripe old age of 35. And he's come way out of his goal again to almost play as the third centre half for Wales in bright yellow, and Wales literally stroll up towards the halfway line. It is walking pace after 20 minutes, and here's Darlow again, only 5 yards or so outside the centre circle. He plays a ball arrowing in behind looking for Brooks, and his opposite number Hazard comes through and claims, and that small band of Irish supporters, as Nathan Blake was saying, we think it's about 300. You've got to tip your cap to them because they're waving flags and banners, jumping up and down on the first couple of rows of that away end in the corner. They're loving life as the rain now starts to swirl in from the night sky above here in Cardiff. Throw in midway inside the Wales half. Terry Devlin of Portsmouth. This Northern Ireland team has only got 3 players in it who are aged over 24. As we were told before the game, this is very much the start of a brand new cycle for Michael O'Neill's side as he comes to the touchline in the long black coat to offer some words of encouragement. Sweden 1, Poland 0, a latest score in the World Cup playoff final. And Ireland have still got the ball. They've then given it away on the halfway line. They've won it back as the pass was forward by De Silva on the opposite side to us. And now they're moving forward with Donnelly to the edge of the penalty area. He's driving to the edge of the box. Price, it's ricocheting. Price still has it. Gets it out to Charles on the edge of the box. He cuts back in. They're trying to scoop it over the top, and they have done. Who's going to end up with the ball? It's De Silva who clears. Dangerous flowing attack from Northern Ireland, and Wales just about hold them at bay. Still the danger not clear. Devaney this time on the near left. All towards the edge of the Wales penalty. It's curling in. They've got men over the top, and that saved as it hit the post, and it's tapped it on the line. Northern Ireland take the lead. Wales look for a flag that doesn't arrive, and Jamie Donnelly has stabbed the visitors in front after 22 minutes.
Yeah, that was a bit too easy for me. You know, no pressure on the cross. In at the far post, free header, hits the post, and like you say, Donnelly with the easiest of tap-ins. When Darlow is still on the ground, all a bit too easy for me. That not enough pressure on the cross to begin with. Free header, I don't know how he gets in that space. At the far post, there's 2 of them actually. So Donnelly has the header and then picks up his rebound off the post and then an easy tap in. That'll disappoint Craig and the team for sure.
He's got about 5 or 10 yards of space. As Nathan's saying, heads it against the base of Darlow's left-hand post, and then he's got time to control it on his chest and tow it home. No one in red reacted, and we've seen the replay. Absolutely not offside. And Wales are behind, and that will just flatten the atmosphere even more. And that poor record of not keeping clean sheets of late continues. And that was probably Northern Ireland's first effort on goal, and they've scored with it.
You can't say there hasn't been warning signs as well from this kind of near left-hand side. I think it was initially Isaac Price who cut back in on his right foot and whipped a really dangerous ball across the 6-yard box, and then for the goal it was a similar thing where I think it might have been Devaney who's actually left-footed, but a similar thing where he cuts back on his right, which isn't always easy to stop as a defender when you have a kind of an opposite footer on the other side, and he just whips it into that far post. Cabango loses Donnelly, he pulls off the back of him, and as Blakey said, they're queuing up. There's 2 men on that far post. I'm looking at Wales there, and they're almost just holding the line, trying to play offside rather than dropping. You know, when you have that in-swinging delivery, you have to drop a little bit as a defender because the ball's obviously curling in towards your goalkeeper, but they almost stand and they're looking to play offside, and there's runners going in there, and Donnelly gets a little bit of luck, maybe a little bit unlucky because he heads it off the post, comes straight back to him, and it's a simple finish.
So Wales have to come from behind. And where has this weather come from? It hasn't been a cloud in the sky all afternoon, blazing sunshine. The football starts and all of a sudden there's a swirling, cascading rain from above, and we've all got the big coats back out of the attic. As Japan lead England in a friendly 1-0 at Wembley. Wales trying to not go 2-0 down here because Price is on the attack for Northern Ireland, and he's played it to the wrong side, played it out to the right, but they've got hold of it, and Joel Colwell wins it back. The pass was onto this near left. Devaney had made the run. He went the wrong way as Joel Colwell leads Wales up to the halfway line. This is David Brooks, and he just goes back to Darlow in goal.
Yeah, Isaac Price probably been the standout player for Northern Ireland so far. West Brom player, and they do have quality in their team. We speak about Wales having a bright future, Northern Ireland very similar, young group of players, and they do have some quality in there with the likes of Galbraith here on the ball. You've got Isaac Price on his left hand side, who's a good player. You've got Devaney, who's obviously Premier League or Crystal Palace. Shea Charles in the centre midfield is a talent as well. Connor Bradley, who's not even here, injured at the minute. So they do have quality in their team, and obviously a young team as well, which is only going to get better.
And the motoring forward again, this time on the far right into the box. Donnelly again, and it's this time on the instep straight at Darlow. But the chances are coming at the goal to our left. Donnelly got there before the defender, flicked finish, and they're putting on the pressure here on Michael O'Neill's Northern Ireland. 1-0 up. To see a replay, the cross from Devlin. Anywhere else it could easily be 2-0.
Yeah, I think it was a tight one on the offside as that ball gets played kind of into the channel. Possibly was offside, but then good ball low across that 6-yard box. Donnelly, don't see many centre forwards making that kind of near post run these days, but
yeah, it was a great run.
Gets in there, gets there first, gets decent contact, goes for that kind of first time finish, trying to use the pace of the cross to beat Darlow, just not able to kind of get the direction on the finish.
Northern Ireland playing all the football here on BBC Radio Wales.
And this man is in control of the game, Galbraith. Like Danny said, Price doing very well. Galbraith seems to be just the main man pulling all the strings at the moment.
And it makes you wonder, why has he been playing at fullback so often this season for Swansea? He really, as Nathan quite rightly said, is the man of the moment in white at the moment, and he's tracking Williams now and winning it back from him and drawing the foul. He seems to be everywhere in these opening 27.5 minutes, with Northern Ireland leading by 1-0. Free kick.
He's a similar size and stature to Sheehan. Got that obviously Swansea connection. He just seems a bit more powerful, doesn't he? Seems to be able to get about more. He's not just about sitting in midfield, he will get forward. Whereas I see Josh more of just a tick in, you play through him all the time. Safe pair of hands. Galbraith, more combative.
Cabango, Galbraith's teammate, heads clear. Hume of Sunderland is the Northern Ireland captain. A bit of work to do for Kieran Brown. He's got the little ponytail. One of a number of Oxford players in the Northern Ireland team. And then Shea Charles sprays it out to Devlin of Portsmouth over on the far right. They move over the halfway line. They are leading here by 1-0 thanks to Jamie Donnelly's second international goal in the 22nd minute.
Yeah, just need to be careful here, Wales, because Northern Ireland is starting to enjoy this. They've got a lovely little setup, lovely little rhythm, and Wales are struggling to keep up with them at the moment. 29 minutes gone. Wales are still in this sort of friendly mode, whereas Northern Ireland, they've got the goal and they've gone to another level. Look really comfortable.
Not really seeing that kind of energy from us, not really seeing that aggressive kind of high press, that bite which we like to kind of play with, and maybe the system as well Northern Ireland are playing with, that kind of three at the back system. They always seem to have kind of a spare man
in midfield
at the moment.
This is going to be a long throw. From the far right, it's level with the edge of the penalty area. All the white shirts forward in. It comes from Northern Ireland. Flick to the edge of the box. Away before it gets to Charles. Loose touch by Ethan Galbraith. And now Wales might be able to counter-attack. Nico Williams in front of us. Has to shift his feet to find Brooks over the halfway line. Toe to the outside of his boot to Thomas, who holds it up on the edge of the penalty area. This is Kumas crossing. And the back post, chance for Colwell. And he heads it against the knee of the defender. And Northern Ireland are able to scramble it out to the far side. But Wales' best move of the game. And Colwell flying in, just couldn't quite get it through that wall of white.
Yeah, that's what he does. Colwell, brilliant at arriving in the box. A great timing of his runs. Hardly ever do you look at him and think, oh, what's he doing there? He's in the wrong place. He never is. He's got a really good footballing brain on him.
Now on this near side, Brooks with some fancy footwork, and it's going to win Wales a corner as they might just be waking up from their slumber after that opening goal.
Yeah, it was much better play, much better build-up play, quicker play from Wales. That ball into Sorba Thomas, who kind of controls the ball almost in a centre-forward position on the edge of the 18-yard box. Little lay-off to Kumas, great delivery into that far post, and as Blakey said, Colwell loves to get into the box on the end of things. Not sure if the header was going in.
Here comes the Wilson corner, headed away straight back to him on this near right side. Gets that to Sheehan, corner of the box, who curls it high towards the back post. It's headed once into the air, hooked away a second time by Northern Ireland. Galbraith leads it out to this near side, bobbing and weaving, dropping his shoulder and getting the clearance away. And Northern Ireland have actually held it up. Or have their referees given a foul by Devlin on Sheehan as the pair battle for the ball on this touchline 10 rows or so away from us.
Devlin actually won it fair and square, and then Sheehan done well because he just...
This is Brooks, great footwork to the byline. In the box he comes, Brooks toes it across the penalty area. Williams on the edge of the box, drives it into the crowd, it's blocked. Roden, Wilson now on the right, corner of the box once more. He's looking for the overlap, Williams provides it, stands up the cross to the back post. Colwell's trying to get there, header behind for a corner. Wales with a bit of pressure here.
Yeah, a bit of consistency in their play, a bit of pressure. Doing well, beautiful play again by Brooks. It was his left foot ball that created this sort of pressure a minute or two ago. Beautiful outside of the foot split pass. And again, just a lovely bit of trickery from Brooks. Really good play.
In front of the half a dozen Northern Ireland flags, which are all flapping about in the breeze, will come this corner taken by Sorba Thomas from the far left. Everyone's at the back post and running in now. It's a terrific ball in, and it's gone past everyone, and it goes out of play for another corner to Wales.
Can't ask for much more than that, can you? It's a fantastic ball in.
In fact, it's a throw
Sorba
to Wales right by the corner flag. But again, as we saw as Williams is brought down for a free kick, as we saw on Thursday, brilliant Sorba Thomas balls into the penalty area and no one able to get on the end of it.
Yeah, I think he almost whips him too much at times.
Yeah, puts too much pace on him.
Yeah, I don't
which
think
means
he's got
he doesn't miss the near man.
No.
And then there's not a consistency in his crossing. I mean, he knows it's striker, you're told to just keep getting in there, keep getting in there. But if someone whips 4 balls in and they all hit the near man, you think to yourself, oh, is it worth and then, you know,
yeah, I think a little bit of
ball.
Finesse at times wouldn't do him any harm. And certainly I think for you as a centre forward, Nathan, if you're whipping it with pace, everything, how do you time your run? It must be much more difficult to time your run.
Well, Thomas and Wilson are over this free kick on this near side. It's Thomas again, another whip ball out to the edge of the box to De Silva, who's encouraged to shoot. It's blocked and it will spin away, and Northern Ireland will race out on the counter-attack. Galbraith will look to switch it. He's still got a man out there on the opposite side, and he's telegraphed it completely. Collected by De Silva. Brooks, who's popped up on the far left, will lead Wales forward. Stabbed into the path of Kumas. Ireland are looking for a flag, which they're not going to get. Kumas is by the corner flag, far left. 11 minutes to half time. Wales looking for an equaliser. Thomas to Roden, central, midway inside the Northern Ireland half. The lead by a goal to nil. Jamie Donnelly with it. Thomas again wraps his boot around it. Headed clear by Toll of Bolton. And then Roden's given it away, wins it back crunchingly but the fullback can clear, and it's gone all the way through to Price, who will gallop by himself and take a shot from distance, and Darlow was not sure, scrambling back and gets it behind for a corner. He shot from 40, 50 odd yards.
Yeah, I don't think he quite pulled that off, did he?
But at the same time, I don't think Carl Darlow had his bearings.
Yeah, well, he's out of his goal, and he's a confident lad.
He was going in.
Price, yeah, taking that on from that distance, and he doesn't, obviously he's trying to lob the goalie, he doesn't do that, and it's just bouncing in front of Carl Darlow, who's trying to scramble back towards the goal. Well, he probably should have, but I think he's just lost his bearings a bit, and probably don't want to take any chances there. But just one ball, one clearance forward. Nico Williams maybe just slightly out of position, and he's in behind Isaac Price.
This is Northern Ireland's first corner of the game. They lead by 1-0. Plenty of white and green shirts in the penalty area. It's an in-swinger high to the back post. It's gone past everyone, and I think it hit the man at the back post and goes behind for a goal kick. It does. Poland have levelled in Sweden in that playoff final. 1-1. Wales still behind by 1-0 here in a chilly, wet Cardiff City Stadium.
Reminds me of Frank Lampard, Joel Colwell, a little bit. Do you not think? In terms of the forward runs, the energy, the forward runs kind of...
I can see where you're coming from, yeah.
Ticks kind of a lot of boxes, you know, he's neat and tidy in possession, gets forward and get a goal.
Good finisher.
Not quite there yet, but...
So that, I'm sure he'll thank you for that comparison. Checks in the post. Here's Wilson for Wales, but he's looking for the run of Kumas, and he's barged into the defender. There's a little knee on the floor as well from Wilson into the back of Devaney. It's a Northern Ireland free kick. Wales have had a couple of half moments. It's Northern Ireland who lead by 1-0. This is the first meeting between these two nations since Wales won 1-0 in the last 16 at Euro 2016. There's also a friendly in March of the same year, so 10 years ago. Wales trailed in that one before a late Simon Church penalty earned them a 1-1 draw. Here at the moment, after 37 minutes, it is Wales 0, Northern Ireland 1 here on BBC Radio Wales. Looking for the evening show. It's international football tonight. It's a friendly, not a final. And Wales have given it away again on the edge of the penalty area. Shea Charles with his back to goal. Here's Galbraith again. Low cross on the far side. He's hooked away by Roden. They've just about got it away to the edge of the penalty area of Wales. Brooks flies through the air, and then there's a high boot there. And Brooks could be in trouble. Ireland are furious with that one. A few of them surround the referee. David Brooks is incredibly apologetic, and he goes to check on Terry Devlin, the stricken fullback. And everyone seems to have calmed down.
Yeah, it's one of them. Two players going for the ball bounces up. David Brooks kind of goes with his foot. Devlin comes in at pace and
hits
Brave,
Devlin's stomach.
Yeah, puts his head in there and gone down holding his face, but he's actually been caught
in the chest,
in the stomach area. So definitely a foul. Nothing more than that, I don't think. He was very apologetic straight away, David Brooks, and knew he did wrong there. Just looking back at the goal again there, just looking at that lack of kind of pressure on the ball there. Good delivery into that far post, very static, that Wales defence.
Well, the thing is, Gab, there's two of them there as well.
Yeah, you're looking at Jay De Silva there, and he's almost just let the runner run off the back of him.
He's just got his arm in the air, hasn't he? Appealing for offside.
Yeah. Two players could have stopped the cross, and then the back line, Jay De Silva, I'm not sure why he's appealing there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be aware there of what's around him.
You
defend first and call for offside after. But certainly from Cabango's perspective as well, you know, it's a difficult one when there's no pressure on the ball and you've got a striker then pulling off the back of you. You really want to see pressure on that ball. It makes it a little bit easier for you as a defender. If there's time and space for the guy to whip that in, and you've got a centre forward kind of spinning off the back of you, it's certainly not as easy as Cabango just loses Donnelly there, and he gets two cracks at it, doesn't he?
And in fairness, they're both inexperienced, right? Jay and Ben left-sided. So
if you look at him on Thursday night, though, he didn't do that once. When those balls came into the far post, he was heading every one.
Free kick's taken short, it's curled in, and it's allowed to bounce in the penalty area before Cabango heads away. Devlin is okay to continue after treatment. Northern Ireland have the ball by the Wales corner flag, and spinning, and it's into the box. They've somehow kept hold of it, even though they were not favourites to have it. It's at the feet of Brown, I think. 1-2 down the line, they pulled it into the box, great chance for two, and it still might be. There's a scramble in there, and Wales have somehow got the ball away. Last ditch defending to deny Ireland a second. Some really neat one-touch football in some tight spaces, and Wales have just about survived as the ball trickles through to Carl Darlow.
Yeah, they're doing some good work, Northern Ireland, in those wide areas. Lovely little 1-2 exchange there between Donnelly and Kelly.
Down the other end, over the top, looking for Wilson, but just as he thought he would get there, Owen Toll comes across, and then did their legs collide? Toll has gone down, saying Wilson stamped on his toe, and he gets up, then goes back to his haunches, the Irish number 3. I think he'll be okay to continue.
Yeah, and they're just working it well in the wide areas, Northern Ireland, and they've got kind of those runners then in behind as well, and they're getting played in. Maybe not enough pressure on the ball in front as well, and been 2 or 3 dangerous balls go across that kind of 6-yard box. Scrambling defence there again from Wales, just about dealing with that situation.
4 minutes remain of the first half. You're listening to BBC Radio Wales, one of the BBC Sounds app tonight, so if you download that to your smartphone or tablet, you can take us out and about this evening. Joel Colwell has lost it, Harry Wilson has won it back. This is Jay De Silva, and Wales are inside their own half. Williams to Brooks on this near side in front of us, in between the 2 dugouts. They're looking for the run of Kumas. The sliding tackle from Ireland only takes it to Sorba Thomas, who drifts across to this near right. This is Wilson. Everyone in white and green, though, is behind the ball. There's no way through for the men in red. It's not a great pass from Wilson, and there's Galbraith again. This time he's lost it to Brooks, who will drive to the edge of the penalty area. 1-2 with Thomas, but the layoff from Thomas was poor, and it allows Ireland to clear. Just moments at the moment for Wales in this first half. They continue to trail. Can they equalise before the interval? As the rain continues to sheet in from left to right. Strong wind that's appeared in this stadium as if from nowhere after a beautiful afternoon in the Welsh capital. And now every white shirt is behind the ball. Wales all in red, just cannot find a way through. De Silva has it once more from Thomas. Wales pass it from one side to the other, no way through. Cabango then with a bit more penetration. Wilson draws a soft free kick, but it's a free kick nonetheless for Wales, which might just be in range for someone of his capabilities. Central, 10-15 yards outside the penalty area, and instantly Wilson gets hold of the ball.
Yeah, certainly worth a go from this distance, but very difficult for Wales to kind of thread those balls through to the likes of Harry Wilson. You look at Northern Ireland, very well organised. It's almost a 3-4-3 when they attack, but when they're defending without the ball, it's a 5-4-1. Those 2 wide players in that front 3 can really kind of narrow and kind of form a 4-man midfield in front of that back 5. So Wales have found it very kind of difficult to penetrate through those central areas.
But Thomas has walked away. Nico Williams and Harry Wilson are there. It's ever so slightly to the left of centre. Wilson has gone for goal, and it's gone comfortably wide. Well watched by Conor Hazard, the Northern Ireland goalkeeper. You see what he was trying to do. There's a little hole in the wall, just couldn't quite get the angles right, and it remains Wales 0, Northern Ireland 1. As Italy are down to 10 men in Zenica. They continue to lead Bosnia and Herzegovina by 1-0. But Bastoni has been sent off. Still Czech Republic 1, Denmark 0. Sweden and Poland is 1-1. And Kosovo and Turkey is 0-0. Kosovo trying to qualify for their first ever World Cup. It's a throw-in to Northern Ireland, and we have 30 seconds left of the normal time. We've had one stoppage for Devlin, that little injury he had. This is Devaney on the other side. Wilson is late on Devaney, and play continues. Wales have it. Kumas drives towards the heart of the defence, and they tried the pass for Wilson, didn't have enough on it. It's behind him, and the opportunity is lost. No sooner did it present itself. It rather sums up Wales's first half a little bit. Might break for Thomas. He loses out, and here comes the board. There's 1 minute of added time at the end of this first half in the Cardiff rain. Ireland standing firm, and they've had chances to double their lead as well. Devaney looks for the run of Donnelly. Header clear only as far as Price, and then Charles trying to drill it cross-field, didn't quite get it right. It carries through to Darlow in goal, and this will be the last attack of the first half. Joel Colwell moves backwards, spins, and now Cabango forward. Roden out to Brooks on this near right. Williams has made the run. Brooks shuffles infield slowly at that, then tries to find Colwell. It's well read though by Northern Ireland. Crashing forward is Troy Hume, and then all of a sudden he found himself the furthest man forward on the halfway line and changed his mind. And there is the half-time whistle. Wales still with a bit of a hangover from that penalty shootout defeat on Thursday. They have laboured at times in the first half. Northern Ireland lead thanks to Jamie Donnelly's second international goal. They've had chances as well. Wales restricted to huffing and puffing down the other end. At the interval in Cardiff, it is Wales 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Yeah, it's as flat as it could possibly be, really, isn't it? There might be only 250 Northern Ireland fans in the ground, but they are singing because they're winning. Bouncing up and down over in that small corner of the Cardiff City Stadium like a small green army. The Red Wall, meanwhile, underwhelmed, very underwhelmed, I would say, with what they have seen from Wales during that first 45 minutes. Craig Bellamy went to the dugout where he'd put his sort of folder down temporarily on a seat. He grabbed it and then he sort of strode down that tunnel with real purpose and intent. You'd imagine, Nathan Blake, that he is going to, well, he's got to have a few stern words for his players, hasn't he, after that? It was just far too easy for Northern Ireland to score.
Yeah, it's very friendly-ish from Wales. I think there's clearly, and we expected there's going to be a hangover, but I think the problem Wales have got is the three at the back for Northern Ireland. There's only Kumas up against them, so they're allowing them to have another man in midfield. That extra man in midfield is really causing, Wales of Colwell and Sheehan a real problem. So they're kind of getting overrun in midfield. It's comfortable. There's a lot of movement from Northern Ireland. They're into a really good rhythm. But like I said, they've got three at the back mark in one. And sometimes, the wing-backs push up high into midfield, a bit higher in the attacking sort of areas. And then Wales they're just struggling to match up with the shape of Northern Ireland at the moment. So if you're Craig, maybe look at possibly put another man up front, or you're going to have to get the likes of Colwell and Wilson really making forward runs at the same time to really put a lot of pressure on that back three. But at the moment it's only Harry Wilson, and Joe Colwell has tried once or twice, but he's more worried about being counter-attacked behind him, so he's sitting alongside Sheehan. So there's a bit of adjustments that can happen in there, but also Wales need to step up and snap out of the mood they're in.
Yeah, it's a kind of lethargy, Danny. Talk to us about the defending, because that cross comes in, and I think we all stopped and thought, where's the offside flag? But it never came, and they weren't offside. But Cabango seemed to be 5 miles away from Jamie Donnelly there, and Jamie Donnelly gets 2 attempts to put it in.
Yeah, I think it's it's more than one mistake in terms of that goal. You look at the lack of pressure on the ball for the cross to come in. There was a warning sign early in the game from Isaac Price, a similar thing on his left-hand side where nobody really closed him down with the right intent. He whips the ball into a dangerous area. Wales kind of got away with that one, but on this occasion, Devaney, he doesn't even do it quickly. He does it all very slowly onto his right foot, no pressure, whips it into a dangerous area. Cabango, yes, can he do better? He almost kind of misreads the flight. He lets Donnelly pull off the back of him. Jay Da Silva, as you mentioned, we're thinking it's offside. He's actually got his arm up, appealing for offside rather than covering his centre-back. And Donnelly, unlucky with the first one, should have scored the first one, comes back off the post and then he just taps it into an empty net. But that has been Wales' first half. Look, there's disappointment with these Northern Ireland players as well. They were in the same situation as us Thursday night, but for me, they've come with the better attitude. And you can see why they play so well against Italy and cause them a lot of problems, because they're organised, they're energetic, they're aggressive, and they've got individuals with a bit of quality. And I thought Wales started the game okay, but as the half went on, Northern Ireland just kind of grew in confidence and took over the half, really. So a lot for us to change and do better second half.
Yeah, it's such a poor goal to give away. And they say Brooksy and Nico in their first instance. Nico kind of ambles out to stop the cross, but doesn't really. Brooksy kind of ambles back to half, stop the cross, but doesn't really. And then the ball in, Ben gets caught underneath the ball. He's backpedaling, and Da Silva's too high. He's not in line with Ben, or he should be slightly deeper, really and truly, so he can see across the line. But he's just too high, and he's got stood with his hand in the air. He's not in line with Cabango at all. He's like 5 yards ahead of him. So, you're analysing that goal. You could stop the cross. You can be in better position if you're both, centre backs. And you'd say to Da Silva, listen, you need to make sure you're in line with your defence. You're kind of playing offside with a man 4 or 5 yards deeper than you, and where the ball's coming in from. What are you doing that high anyway? And be aware of the runner behind you, because if he doesn't put it in, if Delaney doesn't put it in, the next man does. It's as simple as that, and that man belongs to Da Silva.
Yeah, we've seen about 9 replays now on the monitors in front of us of that goal, and we've winced every time, I think, haven't we? Northern Ireland then leading Wales 1-0. Don't go anywhere. Don't go home, please. Stay with us, and we'll be back with you and Mark for second half commentary. 58% possession for Wales, though, during that first half. So seen a lot of the ball. 5 shots to Wales, 1 on target. Meanwhile, elsewhere, half-times in the playoff finals, all battling tonight for a place at the World Cup. Italy, 1 foot in the finals. They lead Bosnia by a 0-0. It was Moise Kean who scored it. He was the guy who got the second against Northern Ireland. But they are down to 10 men. Bastoni sent off for a reckless tackle. Czech Republic leading Denmark by a 0-0. Goalless between Kosovo and Turkey, and Sweden a 2-1 up against Poland. At Wembley, meanwhile, England are trailing Japan. Japan beat Scotland on Saturday and are now leading England. And Scotland are behind again. They're 1-0 down to the Ivory Coast in their game at Everton's Hill Dickinson Stadium. That kicked off at 7:30. So second half commentary of Wales 0, Northern Ireland 1 to come after the latest BBC Radio Wales news, travel and weather now with Matthew Webb.
This is Radio Wales on BBC Sounds, or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Wales.
BBC News for Wales at 8:38. This is Matthew Webb. The Defence Secretary has announced that extra British troops are being deployed to the Middle East, taking the total to around 1,000. John Healey said that despite recent disagreements, the US remained a uniquely close ally.
We do things as two nations that no other militaries or intelligence services do. My job as Defence Secretary is to make sure that we can, in this Middle Eastern conflict, defend British people, and we are, British bases, and we are, and British allies and partners, and we are, which is why I've announced the new missile and air defence systems for Bahrain, for Kuwait and Saudi.
A jury has heard how gang members sought revenge as part of a trial into the killing of a woman in South Wales. Joanne Penny was shot dead in a case of mistaken identity when she opened the front door of a property she was visiting in Talbot Green in March 2025. 5 people have already been convicted of her murder at a previous trial, with 4 others now facing charges in relation to the case. Lucy Vladev reports.
The prosecution said today that 39-year-old Ronaldo Baptiste played a key role in the murder of Joanne Penny, who was shot in the chest on the 9th of March in 2025. He's already admitted to being part of an organised crime group known as RICO, which was at the time facing a rivalry with another gang selling drugs in the same area. Ronaldo Baptiste denies murder. A second defendant, 33-year-old Molly Cooper from Leicester, has also admitted being part of the RICO gang, but denies a charge of possessing, purchasing or requiring ammunition without holding a proper licence. 2 others from Cardiff are facing a charge of assisting an offender, which they also deny. The trial is expected to last around 6 weeks.
2 more Reform candidates have pulled out of the running in the new Pen-y-bont Bro Morgannwg constituency covering Bridgend and the Vale of Glamorgan for May's Senedd election. One said he had concerns around candidate selection and another has stood down for personal reasons, BBC Wales has been told. It follows the withdrawal last week of a Reform candidate in the same constituency after a photo emerged of him apparently performing a Nazi salute. Our political editor Gareth Lewis reports.
Reform has now lost 3 of its original 6 candidates in the area. On Tuesday, Owain Clatworthy withdrew, echoing concerns expressed last week by members in Merthyr and Swansea about candidates being parachuted in from elsewhere. He was followed by Derek Roberts, who stood down for personal reasons, which haven't been made public. Last Friday, Corey Edwards, a former Conservative special advisor, quit Reform's list after a photo emerged of him appearing to do a Nazi salute. It's not clear who will replace the 3. A Reform source said there would be a full list in time for the election.
And the countdown is on for the launch of the Artemis 2 spacecraft in the next few days. The 4 astronauts on board will be the first to orbit the moon in more than 50 years. And that's the BBC News for Wales. It's 8:41.
BBC Radio Wales Travel.
I'm Gary King. Final look at the Traffic Wales cameras this evening. Still can't see any major problems on the M4, the A55 along the North Wales Expressway and the Britannia Bridge, both looking OK. In Powys at Bronlees, the A479 still closed in both directions. It's due to an accident between Church Street and the A438. And on the trains, buses instead of trains at the moment on Transport for Wales services between Bridgend and Roos Cardiff International Airport follows a road vehicle hitting a bridge. And for now, that's the very latest from BBC Radio Wales Travel.
BBC Radio Wales weather.
And cloudy overnight with some patchy drizzle over the hills and mountains, but frost-free with lows of 5 Celsius. Tomorrow, outbreaks of light drizzle mainly over the high ground and a band of rain likely to arrive from the northwest by tomorrow evening. Maximum temperatures of 13 Celsius. That's the forecast.
Your team for Welsh sport. BBC Radio Wales Sport.
Thank you, Matt. Welcome back to the programme. Ian Hunt with you live from the Cardiff City Stadium, where we've got a Home Nations derby instead of a World Cup playoff final. And it's green that leads red because Wales have been half asleep.
All towards the edge of the Wales penalty. It's curling in. They've got men up the top, and that saved as it hit the post, and they've tapped it on the line. Northern Ireland take the lead. Wales look for a flag that doesn't arrive, and Jamie Donnelly has stabbed the visitors in front after 22 minutes.
This is BBC Radio Wales Sport
with Ian Hunt.
Yes, it was always going to be a difficult one for the fans tonight, wasn't it? Coming here expecting or hoping last week that it would be a playoff final, perhaps against Italy, but instead, it's a friendly with Northern Ireland, and it's got even flatter with Northern Ireland taking the lead. Midway through that first half, Jamie Donnelly scoring for them. Wales 0, Northern Ireland 1. Second half commentary to come shortly, but let's get an Irish perspective on things. The former Northern Ireland defender Stephen Craigan, who won 54 caps for his country, is down there pitchside with Carl Roberts.
Stephen, we've had a miserable weekend here in Wales. I'm sure you have as a Northern Ireland fan, former Northern Ireland player as well, but quite a response tonight.
That's always the concern after a defeat like that, isn't it, when you've so much expectation and hopes and ambition. The next game 3 or 4 days later, how do the players react? Well, we've got a really good young group. No surprise that they've bounced back and they've showed great enthusiasm and great desire for the game. We generally felt going into the Italy game that we could have beat them, and I think having watched the game, I think it's a missed opportunity for us. I know Italy are winning tonight, which is great for them, but I think they were there for the taking, and I'm sure you probably felt the same here against Bosnia.
Yeah, from what I've been reading, there's lots to be hopeful about, though, isn't there? If you're a Northern Ireland football fan, a very young side. I think the oldest player bar one the other night was 24. Yeah. A really young player. We see a lot of Ethan Galbraith playing for Swansea City here in Wales. Plenty of reasons to be hopeful.
We're in a very good place. I think Michael O'Neill made a conscious decision 2.5-3 years ago that he needed the blood young players. They needed to get a number of caps under their belt. They're now playing championship football, some in the Premier League as well, but international football, getting regular games, they're now up to 25, 30, 35 caps. So in another 18 months, 2 years' time, they'll be up towards 50. And I think you're the benchmark of what we want to be as a nation. You've got guys down in the Premier League who've got 40, 50, 60 caps. So if we can be there in 2 years, I think we're be in a much better place. But lots of progress, lots of improvement, and we just enjoy watching them.
Stephen Craiger there, the former Northern Ireland defender, with Carl Roberts. Interesting take on their journey through these World Cup playoffs, which ended, of course, on Thursday. A missed opportunity, he said, for them with that defeat to Italy. So the second half commentary coming up in a moment. Wales coming back out. Just a couple of other bits of football news. Ravi Matondo's on the bench tonight for Wales. He's joined the Norwegian side SK Brann on a permanent deal. He made 70 appearances for Rangers after joining in the summer of 2022, scoring 8 times for them. Wales' European Under-21 Championship qualification hopes suffering a major blow. They were comfortably beaten 4-0 by Denmark earlier. Matty Jones' side staying 4th in the group, 4 points adrift of Belgium and Denmark. And Tottenham have appointed Roberto De Zerbi as their new head coach, with the Italian signing a long-term contract with them. Spurs currently 17th in the Premier League, 1 point clear of the relegation zone with just 7 matches to play. Northern Ireland back out then. Changes are being made. We know that 11 substitutions could be made by both sides tonight. That's the agreement that's been made between these two teams. I think I've seen Daniel James come on for Wales. Northern Ireland making a change as well, but we'll get all the details from Mark Poyser, who is alongside Nathan Blake and Danny Gubbard for the second half, and we hope it will be a lot better than what we've just seen from a Welsh perspective, Mark.
Absolutely. On for Wales at half-time. Daniel James and Dylan Lawler off. Go Ben Cabango and Joel Colwill. There are a number of changes as well for Northern Ireland. One is in goal. Piers Charles is coming on for Connor Hazard at half-time. He is the younger brother of Shay Charles, who's, I think, still out on the field. Anyway, we're back underway.
Could play a piano hymn, Mark.
And Wales are in possession. I think the other Charles has gone off. We'll round up all those changes. It might be ominous. This is Brooks, though, coming through, deflected, and chance! And an equaliser right at the start of the second half. Thomas tucks it home. 36 seconds after the restart. Brooks' effort deflected. Thomas couldn't miss, and he didn't. What a start to the second half. 1-1.
I think they might have got the hairdryer treatment. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it was just given away in midfield. And it's a good driving run. I'm sure it takes a deflection, it does. And then Sorba Thomas, with his energetic self, it just deflects to him. He manages to take a touch. Brilliant, really, under that sort of pace. The ball almost hits him, controls it, and then just slots it past the keeper. But they're back in the game, Wales. Just got to pick it up now. Stars you mean to go on, but yeah, they probably did have a bit of a hairdryer, Danny.
Well, lethargic in the first half, and they've been awoken from their slumber, and they're on the attack again. This is James, who scored that stunning goal at that end on Thursday. Wales all in red, going from right to left, back on terms. Any latecomers have missed the goal. They're still in the concourse. The other Northern Ireland change, incidentally, was Shay Charles off and George Saville on. 2 changes apiece at half-time. I'll go through the lineups again in a moment, but this is Wilson for Wales. We played 2 minutes of the second half. Here is the goal scorer, Sorba Thomas, goes round the outside, little nutmeg, and keeps going, crosses into the penalty area. It was low, it was pulled back, but it only finds Northern Ireland, who will scramble it clear. But the hairdryer absolutely has been turned on, because Wales have flown out of the traps at the start of this second half. It's out again to Sorba Thomas. Flies past Devlin, has his shirt tugged, but the referee does not give a free kick. It's a throw in to Northern Ireland, who will be trying to draw breath.
He won't be happy with that though, Sorba. I mean, the fall, it was
theatrical.
I think that is the kindest word you could possibly put in there, Dan.
Yeah, good start to the second half from
Great
Wales,
start.
though. The exact response you'd want to see. I'm sure the manager had a few choice words to say at half-time, and a couple of substitutions, and Wales right back in this game. Sorba Thomas.
And down the other end, it's Ireland with a chance to attack, crossing to the box, and it needs De Silva to clear over his own crossbar.
Better position though, wasn't it, from
Kelly
De Silva?
was lurking.
Better position from De Silva. It's where he's supposed to be. If you look at him, he's in line with his defender, and he's able to get it away, tracking back to his own goal. Really good clearance. Just one of them. It could come off your shin pad, that.
We've nearly already seen more action in the opening 4 minutes of the second half than we did in the entire first half. In comes the corner, in swinger. Lawler heads it away. It's back
Offside,
in, and there's an offside flag. Hume headed it back, and it's a free kick to Wales. All in red with the white trim, the green hoop in between. It's now Darlow in goal. Williams, Roden, Lawler, De Silva. Sheehan playing as the holder, and then Brooks and Wilson in the middle, and you've got Thomas and Dan James either side. Lewis Kumas continues to lead the line up front for Wales. Northern Ireland in the white shirts, green shorts and white socks, as the goalkeeper just about prevents a Wales corner. He's one of the changes. Pierce Charles of Sheffield Wednesday, a back three of Hume, Toll and Brown. Devlin, now Saville and Galbraith and Devaney. Kelly, Donnelly and Price are the front three. And this is a game all of a sudden. It wasn't in the first half. This is played like a match now that means something, as Lawler comes crashing into a challenge on the halfway line. Kumas wins the header. Lawler tries to tow it back towards his striker, and it comes out to this near side to Kelly on the left. Ireland looking for the ball, but it won't drop to him. Callum Marshall has also come on at half-time for Isaac Price. So there's a third Northern Ireland change that crept on at the interval.
I just wondered if there was a little bit of hand involved, maybe with that control from Sorba Thomas for the goal. I'm not complaining too much, but at times he's run really well, actually. You see a lot of players offside in that situation, where Brooks cuts inside, takes the shot, takes a little deflection, but he just times his run perfectly, gets that bit of luck, the ball just drops into his path, and I don't know if it was a combination of the knee and maybe the hand, or I might be wrong, but and then score after. I'm not sure you are.
Yeah.
if you're assisting, I think it's fine. But he taps it in after. But have to see it again. But not complaining too much, as I say. Really good start to the second half from Wales.
I'm sure you'll be able to see the Sorba Thomas goal on the live page on the BBC Sport Wales website. It deflected into Sorba Thomas's path, whether it was chest or arm. As soon as it hit his body, it took it completely away from Pierce Charles, who was going in the other direction. First thing he did after coming on to win his 10th cap was pick the ball out of the back of the net. It's 1-1 on BBC Radio Wales. And this is Hume, the captain. And they go back to Charles, the goalkeeper, once more in the green and navy blue outfit. And he can only clear it downfield, and Roden will gladly pick it up. And he saunters up to the halfway line. Brooks, who's now playing centrally in the second half, has a lot of space, time to pick out a pass. Thomas is waiting for it. We saw that so often, him hugging this near left touchline. particularly in the second period of extra time. 1-2 with Brooks, and it needs the tackle. Wilson comes in to try and get the rebound, and it's away from Northern Ireland, and this is much more like a Craig Bellamy Wales team in this second half.
Yeah, it just looks more energetic, more enthusiasm. They're moving the ball quicker as well. Obviously the goal kind of helps that, gives you that kind of confidence, but right from the start of the second half really, and I'm sure, as I said, it's come from a few choice words in the dressing room at half time. And
yeah, they've not got two holding midfielders now with Sheehan and Caldwell. They've got Brooks pushed further up, which again, they don't need, when 3 men at the back, you push that extra man in midfield, make sure you're not getting overrun. Now he's just got Sheehan holding on his own.
Yeah, it's almost like two number 8s now, isn't it? A little bit. Harry
Correct.
Wilson on this left side, either David Brooks on the right hand side of Josh Sheehan. They'll tweaking the system.
The two number 7s colliding. Brooks fouling Galbraith. It's a Northern Ireland free kick, which they will leave for their goalkeeper, Pierce Charles. And how they found so much space over on that far left of Venny in 10-15 yards. Now he's faced up by 2. All from a static free kick. Ball still wide on the far left in front of that double-decker Ninian stand across from us here at the Cardiff City Stadium. In the centre circle, it's Toll, and now there's an offside flag up against either Kelly or Devlin, one of the two, and it will be a free kick to Wales. And one of the half-time subs, Dylan Lawler, will just roll it out to Darlow. And Lawler, well, this is only his 5th cap. He might be one of the first names on the team sheet going forward for that Nations League campaign. Such has been his impact.
Yeah, you could easily think that is a 0 after that 5. The way he's kind of come in and just looked so composed, so at home with international football. Similar thing obviously in a Cardiff City shirt, playing League One this season. Really has taken to it like a duck to water.
That's the voice of Danny Gabbidon, the former Wales defender, here on BBC Radio Wales. We are 10 minutes into the second half. Wales equalising in the opening 30 seconds. Sorba Thomas with his 2nd international goal. This is Dan James wide on the right. He's battling with the defender, and he's going to concede the throw-in the left-back position. Wales have got a pretty awful recent record in friendlies. They've won only 1 of their last 11. 5 draws and 5 defeats since 2019. And that only winner.
And really exposed that team, didn't you, mate? Really got that in there. Make sure. 19.
That's enunciation classes with Nathan Blake. They start tomorrow from 9. Posture with Danny Gabbidon, that's in the afternoon. Perfect half-term entertainment for all the family. This is David Brooks, it's 1-1. Let's get on with the football. And this is Sorba Thomas hugging this near touchline. Lovely one-touch pass, they've worked it nicely, Wales. Spinning away from the corner of the box is the captain, Wilson. De Silva, and then Brooks tried to hook it in. The referee took a long look as Brooks stayed on his back with his arms outstretched after being flattened, and the referee, after a few seconds, does give Wales a free kick, which they tried to take quickly. Referee's not happy with it, and Northern Ireland weren't happy with it. A few players squaring up to one another, and it's a free kick, maybe 5-10 yards outside the penalty area to this near left-hand side.
Yeah, I'm glad he pulled it back, the referee, because that quick free kick wasn't going to come off. But
didn't work, did it?
No, it didn't work at all. But
it didn't happen.
Zipping the ball about now, Wales. The tempo, the passing, the movement, so much better compared to the first half. Starting to cause Northern Ireland a lot more problems now.
Well, from the angle it would favour the right foot of Williams. Wilson is there as well. It's 1-1, and Wilson backheels it for Williams to drive, and a full stretch save by the goalkeeper. That was going into the corner. James has lost it on the opposite side, then wins it back, toes it round the corner, finds Brooks inside the penalty area. Can he find a teammate? Brooks passes it straight into the white shirts. Kumas clatters into one of the defenders trying to clear it, and Northern Ireland will lead themselves out of trouble. Wilson has committed a foul, but that was a nice free kick routine and almost curled home by Nico Williams for the second goal.
Yeah, thought he might pull rank on this occasion, Nico Williams, because he does have good ability from dead balls, and thought he might run over the ball, Harry Wilson, and he just a little back heel just to open up the angle, and he's just looking to bend it into that far corner. Forces a decent save from Conor Hazard.
Poland have equalised against Sweden in one of the 4 World Cup playoff finals tonight. It's 2-2. Turkey have just gone ahead against Kosovo. And it's still Bosnia and Herzegovina 0, 10-man Italy 1 in Zenica. As Galbraith is sent tumbling by Kumas, Northern Ireland free kick on this near right side, level with the edge of the penalty area. A reminder, we've got more live football coming your way on Good Friday. We're on air at 2 o'clock for West Brom against Wrexham, Sheffield United against Swansea, and a massive match at the foot of League 2, Newport County and Crawley. And then we do it all again on Monday. Cardiff City are not in action till Monday, as Galbraith curls this Northern Ireland free kick high towards the back post. It's missed everyone. Been retrieved by Donnelly, who pumps it back high in the air. They're trying to get underneath it. Squirts out to this near right, hooked it again. Free header! What a save from Darlow to the bottom corner to deny. I think it was Kieran Brown. Still the danger not away. And it's back into that box once more. It's away by Brooks, but the same end as he made that world-class save against Bosnia on Thursday. He does it again against Northern Ireland on Tuesday.
Yeah, low down into his other side.
It's Ian Toll with the free header 6 yards out, and Darlow sees it late, low to his right-hand side. Brilliant save by the Wales goalkeeper.
Yeah, excellent, wasn't it? Great anticipation. He's on his way just before the header comes in. He's anticipating where the header's going to go. Great save.
1-1. But it's a game all of a sudden. The first half felt like a friendly. This feels like an international match that means something, even if it isn't a playoff final. Northern Ireland free kick midway inside the Wales half. Dan James has sent Marshall tumbling. And we have played exactly an hour here on BBC Radio Wales. We're on air until the late show with Larry Shawn at 10 o'clock. And that small band of Northern Ireland supporters are bouncing up and down again in the corner. The Irish FA offering refunds to their supporters, and thousands have taken it. There's not many in that away end as the free kick is taken short. Williams leaning backwards, heads away. James with a lovely little turn, and he's racing over the halfway line. He's completely taken out, and it will be a free kick to Wales inside their own half. And this will be the first yellow card of the game, and an easy one at that. But Ethan Galbraith.
In fairness, the referee has kept his card in his pocket, but I don't think he can let that one go. Simple as that.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
The current Swansea player on the former Swansea man. And Wales have the ball, and Craig Bellamy's side are in the ascendancy in the second half, having equalised right at the start of it through Sorba Thomas. And this is Roden onto Lawler. Sets off on a bit of a run before thinking better of it. Wilson then out to Thomas, who's got the lime on his boots. He's just playing on that near touchline. He's hounded backwards though by Devlin. Has to twist and turn one way and the next just to lose his shackle. Now Sheehan. He does reach James. There's an offside flag up there, which has bemused a lot of the Wales supporters inside this stadium, and a few in front of us who are making their feelings known. And I must say, the people who are booing cannot be over the age of 6. So good on them for giving the officials a piece of their mind.
Just looking over, and look like they're going to make a couple more changes here, but I think that pass might have been intended for the runner David Brooks, but he's had to kind of fizz it for a really tight kind of gap. Sheehan, Brooks misses it, and it ends up going to Daniel James, but he's already run into an offside position once he's got control of it. So much better from Wales though. More aggression, more energy, the tempo's better, the system change, particularly in that midfield area, seems to have helped, and obviously getting that goal start of the second half, getting themselves right back in the game early, also a massive help.
There are 3 Ireland changes coming first. Thomas has crossed to the near post, almost reaches the sliding lunge of Kumas before it's gobbled into the chest of Piers Charles. Wales look a different animal in this second half though. It's going to be Reid, Lyons. It's Wales who will make the first change, and that lunge from Kumas is his last action. Nathan Broadhead coming on, a player who many were surprised did not come on Thursday. And there's no messing about from the fourth official. The ball goes up, you've barely got time to see it. So Kieran Brown is off, Brodie Spencer is on. Also coming off is Patrick Kelly, and the goal scorer Donnelly has also gone off. Also coming on is Reid and Brad Lyons. And it's 1-1. So Reid's going to play as the striker as Wales go over the top. Headed away by Toll. And then the substitutes are caught in possession. Wales press high. Out to Thomas. Still 1-1 here on BBC Radio Wales. Second half has been much more like Wales. As Thomas looks for the run of James, and they're all over each other, wrestling, and they're sent tumbling down. That looked like a nasty fall. Both men are okay. No one was backing down in that battle between Devlin and James. And it's a goal kick to Northern Ireland. What do you make of the changes, Nathan and Danny? Well, the one Wales change, I should say.
Well, if you go from half-time, they've clearly made a difference. Seems to be more energy in the team. I also think Sheehan, playing in that deeper role on his own, he has a bit more space for himself. He's able to do what he does best, and that's take the ball from defenders and lend it to people, get it back, lend it forward. Like I say, the introduction of people like Dan James, that pace, is always going to cause a problem.
This is Devlin, who's got a dollop of mud on the back of his shirt from that challenge with Dan James. Northern Ireland have given it away, and Brooks is in space on the far right. He's got Broadhead in the middle. Brooks going round the outside, bursts into the penalty box, goes down. Never going to get a penalty, and the referee couldn't have been better placed. Waves his arms, and then Broadhead nips in and wins a Wales throw by the corner flag on the far right.
Yeah, I think the substitutions have definitely kind of helped Wales. They've just breathed a bit of life into the team, but I think the main message that would help the team was probably come from the manager at half-time, and it was probably along the lines of stop feeling sorry for yourselves and just liven up.
Yeah,
as simple as that. Start running more and playing with a bit more intensity. I think it's as simple as that, really.
Well, they did look like a side in the first half that was still sulking a little bit, didn't they, after Thursday? You can't hold that accusation against them in the second half. A goal from Sorba Thomas after, I think I made it 35 seconds after the restart. Cancels out Donnelly's opener. And Wales have been much better. And the score here at the midway point in the second half is 1-1.
Seen Dylan Lawler limping just a moment ago, and about 5-10 minutes ago. I'm just going to keep eye on him. I don't know why he's limping, because when he started there was no one near him.
Cardiff don't have a game until Easter Monday. And this is De Silva to Lawler in the centre circle. Roden to Sheehan. And now they work it to De Silva. Brooks is popping up all over the park. He's going where he wants at the moment. He's outside of the boot, out to James, edge of the box on the far right. Crosses in, but it doesn't reach Broadhead. It's away, back to James, who then in turn gets it back from Brooks in front of the Ninian stand across from us, with the few empty seats dotted around, but it's a sizable crowd. And now on this near left comes De Silva to Thomas. Those two with the socks rolled right down their shins. Thomas running infield. Lawler. Wales controlling the game now. Wilson all on this near left side. All the ball, but look far more menacing with it than they did in the first half.
Yeah, and I think that kind of tempo and intensity, you know, is very key to kind of how Wales play, how Craig Bellamy wants the team to play. And if you don't kind of have that, things don't work, which we saw kind of in the first half, and a very kind of lackluster display. But you see, as soon as they kind of raise the tempo and start playing with the right kind of intensity.
But you've also got Dylan Lawler in there instead of Cabango, right? So you've got Sheehan in front of him, but you've got two ball players, so you don't have to have someone alongside Sheehan. If you've got Dylan Lawler, who he'll keep it ticking, but if you switch off, he will thread a pass through the centre of you. So he's very, very good at that. And I think they've looked better with Dylan at the back alongside his partner.
Is that the first choice pairing now in defence for you two?
I would say, well,
probably
you're not far off it. Yeah,
Ben Davis at left back, possibly for Jay De Silva, and then you're talking those two at centre back.
Because Rodon, he's just a warrior. He's
the mainstay.
But they make a lovely sort of partnership. They've really got a nice balance.
Free kick to Northern Ireland, high into the dark Cardiff sky. Headed away by Wales, picked back up by Northern Ireland. The white shirts, green shorts and white socks going from left to right. This is Galbraith. He's not had quite the influence in the second half. That's a lovely back heel though. Cross low to the near post, cleared into the sky by Lawler.
I think it's his ankle or something.
He just winced again, didn't he? I spotted that. And it's a Northern Ireland throw. And here comes more changes.
He's coming off, I think, boys.
He is indeed coming off. So it was a good spot from Nathan Blake. Ethan Ampadu will replace him. So there'll be concern for Cardiff City supporters. So Ampadu will play at centre half, and Sorba Thomas comes off for Brennan Johnson.
Here's BBM. He's not going to be happy. Hopefully that's not too serious. I'm not quite sure. We didn't really see what he done there, Dylan Lawler, but just as Nathan said, he was kind of limping off the ball, and just as that cross came in and he cleared the ball, his left foot immediately started kind of limping after.
And the throw-in has come to nothing, although Ampadu prevents the corner and concedes another throw by the corner flag. On this near right side, we're into the final 19 minutes. Did I enunciate the 19 enough there, Nathan? 19.
You sound Jamaican when you say that. Why are you 19?
Here comes the long throw, let's leave it at that. So Wales have scrambled it clear. Johnson plays it against the number 16 and it's behind for a goal kick. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Still 10-man Italy, 1-0 up in Zenica against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Czech Republic 1, Denmark 0, Kosovo 0, Turkey 1 and 2-2 between Sweden and Poland in the 7:30 friendly kick-off in Everton's new stadium. Scotland still 1-0 down to the Ivory Coast. England still 1-0 down at Wembley to Japan. Republic of Ireland and North Macedonia are goalless. And it's 1-1 here. Can someone find a winner with 18 minutes to go and lift a bit of the gloom after both these nations were beaten in the playoff semi-final on Thursday? Ampadu in the centre circle. Out to Wilson. He's looking for the run of Broadhead, but he hasn't quite wrapped his left boot around it. It will carry through to Charles in goal. And he rolls it out to his feet and clears, looking for Devlin, who's played much more forward in the second half, but he can't find Reed. It's a loose touch from Ampadu, and he's given it away. He's actually committed a foul, but play will continue. Northern Ireland in the ascendancy here. Devlin on the right will float it into the box. Ampadu back to retrieve his own mistake, and then Johnson clears for Wales.
Yeah, good defending there by Wales, because they were 4v5 at that moment. Really well, just to get in position, just try and hold the line a little and just slow things up. Really good defending.
Ampadu actually atoning for his initial error. Kind of heavy touch in that central area and giving the ball away, then he's out of position, but did really well to kind of get back into the 18-yard box to kind of intercept that cross that came in.
But at the moment it's the same score as it was 10 years ago this month, when these two sides met in a friendly. 1-1. And Wales are actually unbeaten in the last 9 meetings since a 1-0 Northern Ireland win over the road at Ninian Park in May 1980 in the Home Nations Championship. And they're attacking here. Strong hint of offside for Reed, but the flag has stayed down. And there's a man over at the back post. The cross though was blocked by Roden, and it allows De Silva to head clear. Devlin was at the back post, free. In the meantime, this is Devaney. Ball's wide on the far left. Devaney continues his run to the byline. James tracks him all the way. And it's a Wales goal kick as Denmark have equalised against the Czech Republic. It's 1-1. So at the moment we have 2 of the playoff finals going to extra time.
Sorry, Mark, what was the Kosovo score?
Turkey still 1-0 up. They've got about 20 minutes to play in all those matches. We have 16 to go here. Kosovo 0, Turkey 1, and Italy still 1-0 up in Bosnia, but the Italians are down to 10 men. This is Pierce Charles, the Northern Ireland goalkeeper. They're looking now at their team. They've got 2 30-odd-year-olds. Toll, who's 27, everyone else currently on the field in white is aged 24 or under. As you see a shot of Craig Bellamy on our monitor in conversation with his coaching staff. He'll be delighted with the way his team have played in the second half. I'm sure he'll reveal perhaps a flavour of what he said to his team at half-time. We'll try and bring you some reaction before we go off air this evening at 10 o'clock.
I think what he'll say is what he kind of said after the previous game. Those 20 minutes can't play without the ball. You say for the first 10 minutes of the first half it was pretty even, but then Northern Ireland were by far the better team, got to a rhythm, like I said, nice and comfortable. Yeah, it's handball.
Harry Wilson with his arm in the air as he battled for it. Free kick to Northern Ireland on the halfway line. Any reaction we don't bring you before 10, you can hear it from 7 tomorrow morning. Radio Wales Breakfast with James Williams. And I mentioned we've got live Good Friday football. We've got live European rugby for you on Saturday from 5 o'clock. So knockout stages of the Challenge Cup. We've got Benetton at Cardiff, and then Ulster Ospreys back to back. This is a Northern Ireland free kick. 1-1 in the rain, which is getting stronger, and that one sails past everyone, and it's a goal kick to Wales. More international football coming your way next month. Next 2 Women's World Cup qualifiers. Wales host Albania in Wrexham on Tuesday the 14th, before they play the return fixture a few days later on Saturday the 18th. Both will be live here on BBC Radio Wales. Your team for Welsh sport. Charles, the Northern Ireland keeper, clears. Devlin, I was going to say, has he kept it in? It wasn't a great clearance. Spun out to this near side of the field, and it is indeed a Wales throw in front of Craig Bellamy, who's up walking around the edge of his technical area once more. You can see the rain being blown in from left to right again as Aitchison makes his way down the stairs in front of us to come on imminently for Northern Ireland. This is Jay De Silva. Sheehan with a clever pass back to Ampadu, who's in space. Tries to scoop it over the top for the run of his Leeds teammate Dan James. Will someone get there? And it's so close. It wasn't meant for Wilson. Wasn't the favourite to get there, but he got there first. And on the half volley, that flashes agonisingly close past Shea Charles' right hand post.
Yeah, it was a scoop pass that caused all the problems. They've defended it well, got a header on it, but straight down. So probably the one man you don't want the ball to be falling to if you're Northern Ireland. Right-footed Harry Wilson. Just a bit too much bend on it.
And we're still searching for the third goal in this game to separate these two sides. And Northern Ireland are playing two changes as the loose ball drops to Brooks, centre of the field, driving, might go himself, instead goes wide to James on the right. He cuts in on the edge of the penalty area, cuts into traffic, it's blocked, spins out to Roden. Now it's Williams on that far side, plays it round the corner to Dan James, and he's just run straight into a big shoulder charge from his opposite number Spencer. Smith and Aitchison coming on for the final 11 minutes for Northern Ireland. They're coming on right now with a score at 1-1. It's Devlin coming off for Smith, and Ethan Galbraith's evening is over, and it's a full international debut for 19-year-old Tom Aitchison of Blackburn Rovers, the team that his international manager Michael O'Neill will go back to tomorrow morning to take charge of the relegation run-in in the Championship as part of his dual role. So a first call-up and a first cap for Aitchison, a late replacement after Dan Ballard pulled out injured. And we're about to enter the final 10 minutes in Cardiff, the final matches before the Ghana friendly here on June the 2nd. And then the Nations League will start in earnest in September. Wales paired with Portugal, the holders, Denmark and Norway. Portugal and Norway are already at the World Cup. Denmark still 1-1 with the Czech Republic. And a side note as well, the first 4 matches of that campaign will take place in the same international break. They've been sort of clubbed together from next season. So it'll be a bumper first international window of the new campaign, and we will bring you those games live here on BBC Radio Wales. 9 to go though. 1-1.
Great games for us, aren't they? We're kind of...
Brooks has wriggled away. Has he? No, the defender fights back and the keeper clears for a throw to Wales.
We kind of need an in-between league, really, don't we? We need almost a group, I don't know, B+ league or something, because we're almost a little bit too good for Group B, and we had a little taste of Group A and didn't fare too well. So fantastic test for us, the likes of Portugal, who we know have got a star-studded team. Norway, likes of Erling Haaland, Odegaard,
Denmark
the Cardiff
in there
Stadium. Denmark, decent side as well. Good test for us.
Yeah, hell of a test.
And Northern Ireland are in League B. They've just been promoted from League C. This is De Silva for Wales, as the home side will push for a winner. And it's worked nicely, and Broadhead thought he just wriggled away, lost his footing. Reed then is just swallowed up by Ampadu.
Yeah, just totally unaware. For a striker, he's got to be expecting Ampadu to come on his shoulder there and try and win the ball. His touch was heavy, almost as if he was turning it round the corner to himself.
Second half has pretty much all been about Wales.
Yeah, dominated, haven't we?
This is Williams trying to pierce the ball through for James, who made the run, but it was well scouted by Northern Ireland. Williams has won it back though, and will rampage to the edge of the penalty area. Cross though is blocked, spins out to the near side. Roden throws his man to the floor, hasn't quite kept it in. It's a throw. Lethargic in the first half, Wales, deservedly behind. The second half they have burst into life. Will there be more for them? Besides Sorba Thomas's equaliser right at the start of the second half, seconds in to that restart. They caught Northern Ireland cold. They started quickly. Can they finish with a flourish? This is Wilson over to this near left, midway in the Northern Ireland half as Wales continue to probe. Wilson nips in between two but doesn't take the ball with him. There's one back though by Johnson, but it spins to Aitchison. And now it's Charles, the goalkeeper, who took a touch and took a chance because he was being charged down by the red shirts. And down the other end, Ampadu collects on his chest, and Wales will start again.
It's interesting now we haven't maybe emptied the bench a little bit more. I thought we might have. 83rd minute now. Still got the likes of Harry Wilson on it, Joe Roden, Nico Williams, David Brooks. I think Reece Norrington Davis might be getting stripped and ready to come on, but I just thought we might have made a few more changes by now.
I'm quite thankful that they haven't.
For you, yeah. Commentator's nightmare.
Both teams can make up to 11 substitutes. Thankfully they haven't taken that opportunity. This is Johnson into the penalty area, and Aitchison does just about enough. Gets his body in between Johnson and the ball, just as it looked like the Palace man was racing in on goal. But Wales are asking all the questions in the final 6 minutes as they search for what would surely be a winning goal. This is Broadhead towards the edge of the box on the left, toes it into the box, but Johnson's not quite on the same wavelength, and it carries through to Charles, who will take all the time he can. Ivory Coast have beaten Scotland in Liverpool in their 7:30 friendly. Every other game this evening at 7:45. And nearly all those playoff finals are still in the balance. 2 of them draws, the other 2 only a single goal in it. This one all square as well at 1 apiece. Exactly 5 to go. The big red numbers illuminating what was a lovely sunny afternoon in Cardiff. It's become a quite cold, wet evening. Da Silva wide to Johnson, who's waiting for it, corner of the box on this near left side. Gets the cross in, but it's easily headed away by Aitchison. Wales will come straight back. One-way traffic in this second half. Ampadu in the centre circle, out to his Leeds teammate Roden. Brooks takes over. Everyone in white and green behind the ball. But Wales are knocking on the door as they kick towards that Canton stand. They're going from right to left, all in red in the second half. Roden and Sheehan exchange passes. Ampadu finds Wilson on this near left, but everyone is behind the ball for their opponents. They're trying to draw them out, and Northern Ireland just are not taking the bait. Brooks again, trying to produce some magic or find a certain angle to play the right pass. It's coming out to Wilson, who's on this near left. Nutmeg to Da Silva down the line. Ball into the box is not a good one, easily cleared. We thought that might be the angle. It's a throw in, and Wales are in a hurry, as Reece Norrington Davis indeed is ready to come on for Wales for the final 3.5 minutes. This is Ampadu trying to scoop it over the top, finds Wilson on the near left corner of the box, toes it into Brooks, who tries to make room for the shot, comes back to him. He's cutting more into the white shirts. It's behind Williams over on the far right. Dan James picks it up, but again he's running infield into traffic. Northern Ireland clinging on a little bit here. Sheehan to Wilson. On the left to De Silva, down the line to Johnson. Thunderous tackle comes in from Spencer to deny Johnson. Ampadu puts one in of his own, and it's a free kick which Northern Ireland try and take quickly, but the referee won't let them because they're going to make a change of Wales, and it is Jay De Silva who comes off, and Rhys Norrington Davis who comes on for Wales. And there are 2.5 minutes left.
Chance creation for us from crosses is a little bit of a thing we need to look at and work on, I think, particularly obviously when there's no Kiefer Moore in the team, and Jay De Silva, who's had a decent night tonight again, apart from maybe obviously his part in the goal, but I thought he was excellent on Thursday. And you just look at that last kind of patch of play where Harry Wilson plays him in down the side of the 18-yard box. That's the kind of area you kind of want your fullback. That's the kind of area where you want Wales to be crossing the ball with the profile of player we have on the pitch at the minute. But
run that quality,
not the quality. You've got to be picking men out in those situations.
At this level, you have to be picking men out.
Picking out Brennan Johnson here by the corner flag. He'll have a job keeping it in. He has done, but
you can put the percentage ball in sometimes, right, Dan? But at international level, you do have to be thinking to yourself, I'm not putting in an area. It's not percentage play. I'm going to try and pick somebody out.
When you're inside the 18-yard box with a little bit of time to get your head up, I think there's no excuses to be. You have to be missing the first man, which he hit there. We had 3-4 runners in the box there. You have to show a bit more quality, a bit more composure, and because you need to be able to score goals from crosses. When teams are difficult to kind of break down, you can't go through them centrally. So important to kind of get into wide areas and get players in behind and cross the ball.
Goal in Zenica. They did it to Wales, they've done it to Italy. Bosnia and Herzegovina have equalised 1-1 against the 10 men.
This team.
Tabakovic this time with the equalising goal. They've still got about 7 minutes to play. So at the moment, 3 of the World Cup playoff finals are going the distance. Still Kosovo battling to take theirs to extra time against Turkey. They're 1-0 down at home. This is Brooks for Wales. To Brennan Johnson, corner of the box on this near left side. Cutting in, everyone in white behind the ball. Ampadu encouraged to shoot, thinks better of it. Norrington Davis, they're peppering the penalty area here without plunging the ball into that 18-yard box. They go from one side to the other. Now it's James on the far right. Williams is hugging the touchline. We're into 3 minutes of added time. Wales get a throw. As Sweden go 3-2 up against Poland. They've won it surely with a couple of minutes to go. The former Swansea manager Graham Potter in charge of Sweden these days. Is there drama here in Cardiff? It's only a friendly, but Wales are pushing for a win that would mean the world. It's on this near left, and Wilson is surely impeded there as he tried to get on the end of the 1-2 with Johnson, and it's a Wales free kick, level with the edge of the penalty area on this left side, and this is a chance because all the red shirts are coming forward.
One quality cross, one quality finish. Pack up and go home.
Some people are already going home. They're heading to the exits and the stairs around us as Wilson delivers it, and it's easily headed clear. There was no one in the middle in red. Brooks is busting a gut to get to it, and he does get to it. Over on the far right, and he's cutting in. Can he produce a ball? He's trying a bit of magic, and he never really had control of it. He got past 2. It's back on the halfway line now with Norrington Davis. Now Wilson on the near left. Wales continuing to try and get a winner. They've given it away. Rhys Norrington Davis guilty. And this might be a sucker punch as Northern Ireland come forward with Smith. 2 white shirts at the back post. Here he is on the near right, cross towards the back post, free header over the crossbar, and that should have won it for Northern Ireland.
Talking about crossing there, Nathan.
Yeah, that's what you call
right on the money.
Yeah,
it's Marshall who's headed over 6 yards out couldn't have wished for a better ball. Now come Wales. About 40 odd seconds into the 3 added minutes. You see a replay, just stay ahead in the turf. They're looking for James over the top. It hits the Northern Ireland head. James does not let it go for a corner. He keeps it in on the byline. Scoops in the cross looking for Wilson. Headed away before it can reach him and headed into the arms of Charles in goal. What a chance down the other end for Northern Ireland to win it.
Yeah, Rhys Norrington-Davies, his heart would have been in his mouth as that cross came in, because he's the one that gives the ball away on the halfway line, allows Northern Ireland to break, and then it's a brilliant ball into the 18-yard box. Centrally, 6-yard box is Marshall, I think. I think he almost overruns the cross.
Yeah, because he's dipping his head.
Yeah, he's dipping his head. Yeah, desperately trying to keep it down.
Yeah.
And there is the final whistle. It finishes one apiece, just as it was in a friendly here this month 10 years ago. Neither side able to totally lift the gloom from Thursday's semi-final defeats. Wales were passive, sluggish in the first half, but really came out of the traps in the second half, equalised through Sorba Thomas, pushed for a winner, which they couldn't find. All minds turning to the Nations League in September and that friendly with Ghana in June. But Wales here could not get the victory. It finishes in Cardiff. Wales 1, Northern Ireland 1.
Yeah, the Cardiff City Stadium already 2/3 empty. People had long since started leaving before that final whistle. It was the dance that no one wanted, wasn't it, this evening? And for the first half of the match, well, Wales just didn't have the right moves, did they? But Sorba Thomas, 36 seconds after the restart, preventing a thoroughly miserable conclusion to this March campaign as the Wales players and Northern Ireland counterparts shake hands, and the visiting team go over to that far corner, and those 250-odd Northern Ireland supporters have enjoyed their evening. They've been bouncing up and down all night. They thought they might see a victory, but in the end, at least they didn't see their side lose as they did in Italy at last Thursday. 1-1 then, and reaction to come between now and 10 o'clock here on BBC Radio Wales, and plenty of thoughts from Danny Gabbidon and Nathan Blake, not just on tonight, but on what happens next for Wales, of course. Mark mentioned that friendly with Ghana in the summer, and then the Nations League beginning in September with an away doubleheader against Portugal and Denmark. That is going to be difficult, but maybe the sort of challenge that Wales now need to embrace. But it was exactly the sort of game, I suppose, Danny Gabbidon, that we thought it might be tonight. Or perhaps it was even worse in the first half than we thought it might be.
Look, I think it was always going to be a difficult game for the players off the back of Thursday and the huge disappointment, and it certainly looked that way in the first half. You know, we saw a Wales team that was looking a little bit sorry for themselves. There was no kind of tempo, there was probably not the right attitude, I would say, and maybe that's understandable a little bit, and I think it probably took a few choice words at half time from Craig Bellamy to get that kind of desired effect for the second half. So I think credit to the players for the way they kind of responded. Northern Ireland were by far the better team in the first half, and for us to kind of get ourselves back in the game early in the second half with that Sorba Thomas goal, I think that instantly kind of lifted us. Obviously I think the substitutes as well, the energy that Daniel James kind of brought to the team as well was a big plus, and our manager had to tweak the system a little bit, and I think that kind of worked a lot better second half when you saw David Brooks playing a bit more central with Harry Wilson, almost 2 number 8s, and playing a little bit wider, and that seemed to cause Northern Ireland a few more problems. So I think we'll just have to take a draw, won't we? It wasn't the greatest of games. I think Northern Ireland, with the changes they made, and they looked quite happy at the end to kind of sit on the 1-1, and we were the ones pushing, trying to get that second goal, and we weren't really able to do that, and maybe that's been a little bit symptomatic at times of some of our performances over the last year or so, where when we're on top we can't quite maybe get the second goal, kind of kill the opposition off. We control the ball, and we can't quite see the opposition off. So we end the campaign obviously with huge kind of disappointment, not qualifying for the World Cup, and tonight, was always going to be a difficult one for us, I suppose. But yeah, positive set in our performance, and just pleased to maybe get something from the game and some decent kind of individual performances, more so in that second half.
Yeah, they're having a wander around the field at the moment. It's very easy and almost pointless in a way, Nathan, isn't it, to sort of compare this to when Wales qualified for the last World Cup, and you remember the scenes there that night when they beat Ukraine, and you know, this place was just alive and electric, and what was to come? Yeah, at the moment it is very, very flat. They're just doing a kind of obligatory sort of trudge around the field there. Craig Bellamy and all of his players applauding those who are left inside the stadium. It is very, very quiet, as you would expect, but coming towards us now. How do you sum it up?
No one be more disappointed than the players. When you don't qualify for tournaments that you've looked at and watched probably since you were 6-7 years old, and imagine yourself playing at the World Cup, you know, scoring goals in the play yard with your mates, and, you know, repeating goals that you've seen at World Cups and European Championships. Trust me, mate, there's nothing more soul-destroying than not being able to qualify. I mean, some of them are played in tournaments, but every tournament you want to be going to. And I was never fortunate enough to get there, but I know what the pain feels like when you don't get there. So, you know, no one would be hurting more than the players. And I think that was evident in the first half, to be honest with you.
Let's bring you some reaction. As promised, here is the Wales goal scorer, saving Wales from a loss tonight. Sorba Thomas with Carl Roberts.
I'm Joe Barrett, the Wales goal scorer, Sorba Thomas. Lots of talk before the game, Sorba. Some people called it the game that nobody wanted. Are you pleased that's out the way now, and you've had 90 minutes on the grass to get out of your system?
Listen, we all know what Thursday was to us. You know, it was a big moment for a lot of us. We was devastated, but I felt like the game against these guys, you know, they were in the same boat as us, so it was a perfect game for us, you know, to compete against each other. It's a new opponent that we're not used to, but I enjoyed it. A lot of the boys enjoyed it. It was something I felt we needed to get our mind off Thursday, and we can't keep dwelling on something that's gone now. You know, like the gaffer says, that it's a new day now. So we got to move on, and we got big Nations Leagues coming up. We got friendlies in June, which are exciting to be. So yeah, man, we're so excited.
I think there could be as many as 8 games, couldn't there, before Christmas? I mean, you certainly look pleased with that goal. Took it really well. Didn't have much time to think about what you're going to do, did you?
Yeah, it was one of them ones where I seen Brooksy come on the left foot, and I knew I just got to gamble on the rebound. And then next minute I know it hit me in the chest. Then after that, I was just trying to figure out where the ball went, sit there, and I thought, got to put it in the back of the net. And look, for me, it's just about confidence, you know. I want to play every single time. I put on the world's top every single time. I want to start every game, but for me, it's about giving the manager a bit of a headache every time I play, be the difference maker, and yeah, it was amazing to get the goal.
Well, we'll speak to him later and ask if you've given him a headache. Thanks for joining us tonight.
He's had a good season, hasn't he, in a Wales shirt, Sorba Thomas there, and adding another goal to his small collection this evening. We are looking, of course, at what's going on elsewhere tonight to see who is celebrating a place at the World Cup. I don't think actually Sweden are through, aren't they? They're the first team to go through to the finals. Graham Potter's Sweden, the former Swansea City manager, will be managing at the finals at the United States, Canada and Mexico this summer, because they beat Poland 3-2 to avenge their playoff defeat against the Poles 4 years ago. Obviously, the game that Wales were hoping to play in tonight is in Zenica. It's still going on, and it's level. Bosnia 1, Italy 1. It's gone to extra time. Italy had led for a long time in that game, but Bosnia hit back 1-1, both aiming to end 12 years of World Cup hurts. Elsewhere, extra time between the Czech Republic and Denmark as well. That is 1-1. The Czech Republic ended the Republic of Ireland's World Cup dreams last week. And Turkey are through. Their 24-year wait for a World Cup appearance is over. They have won 1-0. Kosovo's wait for a first appearance at a major finals goes on. And then in terms of the friendly games tonight, England and Scotland warming up for the World Cup with their final preparations. It's not gone to plan for England tonight, losing to Japan. They've lost by 1-0. That was after a 1-1 draw against Uruguay on Friday. A final game before Thomas Tuchel names his World Cup squad in May. And Scotland losing again. 1-0 to Ivory Coast at Everton's Hill Dickinson Stadium. That was after losing to Japan at Hampden Park on Saturday, so a bad few days for Scotland. Wrexham's Dom Hyan started for the Scots tonight, winning his second cap almost 3 years after he got his first. And Swansea's Adam Idah played 20 minutes for the Republic of Ireland after coming on as a sub in their goalless draw with North Macedonia at the Aviva Stadium. He also came off the bench in their World Cup playoff defeat to the Czech Republic. He has been out since just before Christmas, I think, with a hamstring injury suffered in training. Last played for the Swans when they beat Wrexham 2-1 before Christmas. So all of the players have now gone back into the changing rooms here. We've got just, seagulls, more seagulls than fans inside the ground at the moment, swirling around, trying to pick at the debris left inside the stadium. And Danny Gabbidon and Nathan Blake still with us through until 10 o'clock tonight. I suppose if we were being super critical, we would look at the two sides, Danny, and we would say Wales, on paper, should be beating Northern Ireland when you look at the quality that Wales have got, or how much are we letting them off the hook to an extent, given the hangover that they're suffering? Two teams suffering this World Cup hangover, but they're a better team than Northern Ireland.
I think we're a better team, but I think a lot of people thought that on paper we should have beaten Bosnia on Thursday, and football isn't played on paper, unfortunately. You've got to go out and execute the performance, and look, we didn't really know what was going to happen tonight. Two teams off the back of major disappointment on Thursday. Would the players be up for it or not? We weren't really up for it in that first half, but we acted well in the second. Northern Ireland, very good in the first half, probably not so good in the second. So look, this is a difficult game to kind of judge, really, and to kind of go into analysing and saying, we're the better team, we should win, blah blah blah. It's probably not the game for that, really, off the back of Thursday. So I think you just look at the campaign as a whole, and obviously it's been disappointing, and we haven't been good enough. There's been some inconsistent performances in there. There's been some brilliant football and brilliant performances as well. And at the end of the day, to qualify, there's a lot of boxes you got to tick. There's a lot of things that you got to get right. I think we did really well to kind of get it to a playoff in the end, and we weren't able to kind of get over the line at the business end. So I think that shows that there's still a lot of improvement to make with this team. I think Craig Bellamy, I think up until this point, has done a really good job. I've liked a lot of things that I've seen from the team, but there's still a long way to go. It's a young group who will learn from these kind of difficult kind of experiences as well. And it does hurt because there's an expectation on this team now over the last 10 or 12 years of what we've been able to do, qualifying for tournaments. And when you go to one for the first time, it's a different kind of feeling to when you've gone to the second and third one and then you don't make it there. It hurts. The players are going to hurt, the manager included. So I'm sure everything will kind of be analysed. There'll be a big debrief, and there'll be, how do we move on? How do we get better? How do we improve? You're looking at Italy tonight. If they, I think it'd be the third tournament on the bounce if they don't get a result tonight in extra time. So just shows how difficult it is to kind of continually qualify for major tournaments. So on this occasion we've not been able to do it, but we've got to look at it and try and bounce back and come back stronger.
What did Craig Bellamy do then at half-time, do you think, Nathan, to turn it around and to inject a bit of life into this team? Because they were lethargic in the first half, but it was a much better second half performance. Was it personnel, or was it tactics? Was just tweaking things in midfield a little bit?
I think it was a little bit of a both, to be honest with you. I think the tactical switch, taking Cabango off and pulling Dylan Lawler on first and foremost, thought that was big. And then, putting Brooksy and Harry Wilson as 2-8s rather than, having Joel Colwell next to Sheehan, which allowed Sheehan a lot more space to do what he does best. So, there were tweaks, but also what you'd say is the way they started the second half, right from the get-go, managed to get the goal, and then, it gave Wales a lift, and they were by far the better team second half. And you'd say the exact opposite for the first half. So Wales will be pleased they didn't lose the game, but be disappointed that they didn't. Again, for me, one of the big things over the last sort of few months has been we've not been able to do a 90-minute performance. And I don't mean 90 minutes, as Craig would say, in possession of the ball all the time, because I don't think you can be in possession of the ball all the time. But I mean a 90-minute performance where you are the better team both halves then. You know what I mean? I don't think we've done that. We've either played brilliant first half, not so good second half, with North Macedonia aside, of course, or they've like Belgium away, terrible first half, absolutely amazing second half. And we've seen that, quite often from Wales recently. So that's something I think Craig will want to look at. And look at that North Macedonia game. The Turkey game stood out especially. His first game here and then away from home. Good 90-minute performances. I think that's what they'll be looking to do in future.
Yeah, because you're not going to score 7 goals every game. No. I mean, the North Macedonia was a one-off kind of match. Yeah. You don't see that very often. But I suppose some fans will look at it and think, well, why can't we see more of that? We didn't see much of Harry Wilson tonight, did we? Got a hat-trick against him. He was excellent. He's been brilliant in the Premier League. He's very quiet tonight. And again, you could put it down to the emotion and that they were drained after Thursday night. But from a creativity point of view and a kind of spark and an X factor, we didn't have much of it tonight, did we? No, we didn't. And look, it's understandable a little bit. The amount of effort that the players kind of put in on Thursday. And Harry, I thought, we can't really criticise him too much. I think he's had a fantastic kind of campaign. He's been our talisman. He really has kind of taken to that kind of false 9 role in the last few games and played it as good as I've seen anyone play. He played a bit of a different position tonight, and second half he dropped a little bit deeper as well because we were struggling in that midfield area, and he played a bit more as a number 8. So that that's the kind of versatility that he has. But we can't always kind of rely on him. For so many years we were relying on the likes of Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey to be the creative spark and score the goals and have these moments. And now we're looking to Harry, and he has stepped up for us in many a game since we've lost those players and been superb. But you can't expect him to perform every single week. There's other players that need to kind of step up and get onto his level, I would say, as well, on a more consistent basis. So yeah, it was just one of those lacklustre performances, and I can't really blame the players. I can't blame the players for Thursday and their efforts. They gave everything, and I can't really blame the players too much tonight.
I think you make a great point there, Dan. It's about your top players, and then can they lift the other players, or can the other players then lift themselves, not to their absolute level, but lift themselves to a level which allows them to compete. I think that's what Chrissy Coleman was great at. And Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey, you had 3 or 4, Joe Allen, really, really, really top players. But then lots more players just were able to elevate themselves to a level where, it took Wales to a semi-final in the Euros, right? And that was one of the, if not the best performance for a Welsh team at any tournament, and I don't think it'll be surpassed, to be honest with you. He had his off moments, Gareth Bale. We always remember the standout moments, the brilliant moments, but he did have his off games occasionally, didn't he, Gareth Bale? He had quiet games as well.
Which name him?
All those ones in the World Cup.
Shots fired. You have to understand that at that point, and I will defend it to the max, because at that point you've got to understand, Ian, that your body, what it's been through, what he put his body through, what we put our body through pre-season and training, year in, year out, day in, day out, and the amount of games they play now in comparison, and the level he's playing at, so the pressures, I would say the World Cup, you could not drop him.
No.
But
that's when you need players to step up to help.
That's when you need it, right? Yeah. But you didn't have the Joe Allens at the same level. You didn't have the Aaron Ramseys at the same level. So you had a crop of players. Joe Ledley had gone. You had a crop of players who were just
end of the cycle.
It was the end of the road. But Gareth, for me, done amazing just to get us there and get there, and still he still scored the only goal for us at the Euros.
Indeed. Let's bring it back to the current day then. Let's hear from Joe Rodon with Carl Roberts.
Joe, are you glad to get that out of the way?
Yeah, I think of course we didn't start the way we wanted to, and that didn't represent us, especially first half, but second half, it came out and that was more like us and controlled the game and pretty much dominated. So yeah, of course we drew the game, but if you can't win them, don't lose.
Yeah, that first half, understandable, I guess. What was said at half time to maybe liven you up for that second half?
Yeah, it's best I don't say that, to be honest. But no, of course, Bella's, of course, the gaffer, gave us some strong words, and like I said, it's not just him. We know our standards, and we're consistent with that every day. And like I said, that wasn't us first half, and second half is what we showed what we're about.
Have you seen that before from the manager?
No, first time. But to be honest, it's expected because, like I said, first half from all of us was unacceptable, and it's not how we want to be. And like I said, second half was much better.
Yeah, and the response came, got the goal. Plenty of players had an opportunity to get onto the pitch as well. Obviously, it's not been the 9 or 10 days that you wanted, but I was looking at the calendar. I think you may have as many as 8 games before the end of the year. Certainly a worthwhile exercise, isn't it, getting minutes for everyone?
No, of course, and the manager, has instilled that in us. We got some really tough games coming up, some big games, and like I said, we want to stay, in Pot A. We want to be in that top division. So, we got loads to prepare for, and of course now we go back to our clubs, and then, big summer.
Well, all the best.
Cheers.
Cheers, Joe. Thanks.
Yeah, they go back to their clubs. Leeds United, in his case, making sure they stay in the Premier League. Elsewhere, it's all about teams trying to get into the top flight or teams trying to avoid relegation, of course. But Joe Rodon confirming the half-time hairdryer treatment, I think, from Craig Bellamy. Maybe the angriest they've ever seen him, judging by what he was saying there, and you can understand that. But in terms of what's ahead then, and what the positives are for Wales going into the Ghana friendly in June. There might be another game, we're not sure at the moment. That we hope that would be a World Cup send-off game, a kind of World Cup warm-up match, but it will now just be a friendly. And then the Nations League A campaign starts in September. Away doubleheader, Portugal and Denmark. I mean, you talked about it in commentary. I mean, it's exciting for Wales, isn't it, to play that top-class opposition, but it's going to be hard, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is, but I think if you look at this Wales team for where we are at kind of now, I think that's the calibre of team we need to be going up against and competing against and trying to find a way of getting results. That's almost one of the next steps for us. I think League B, we've shown on a couple of occasions now that, I wouldn't say we're too good for it, but we can compete and beat teams of that kind of level, but I don't think we've shown on a consistent basis where we can kind of play those elite level teams and go against them and compete and get results. So that's the next step for us, and you only learn and get better from playing against the best. So we're talking about not qualifying for a World Cup. If we're going to go to the World Cup, you're playing against the best nations. They're all good teams, so to go there then and compete, which again is another step for us, not just qualifying for major tournaments, is actually going to a tournament and doing what we did in 2016. Maybe not a semi-final, but we're competing, we're showing we can dominate the ball, we can have a certain amount of possession against these kind of teams, we can create chances. These are the kind of levels that we're working towards to try and get to, and I think if we can get that to a certain level, then that brings consistency and kind of longevity. And even if Craig was to go, in the next campaign or two, I think leaving that kind of blueprint for the next manager, this is the way we kind of play, and then you find a similar type of manager with that kind of forward-thinking kind of philosophy, I think that breeds the kind of longevity then and allows you to continue to kind of have success. Of course, you need players to come through still as well and keep developing, and it's down to the players now to go back to their clubs and keep developing. We could do with more players playing in the Premier League for sure as well, which would help with the national team. And they're all big games, so we've got to move on quickly from this. We've got to dust ourselves down, and there's exciting games to come, and we've got to find a way of performing against these teams and showing that we're up to the level.
And finally, Nathan, just in terms of the team, a blueprint of the team, what we've seen over the last 6 months or so, the North Macedonia game was the kind of high watermark. We've had, that Wilson, James, Brooks, Johnson kind of attacking quartet, if you like. Carl Darlow has really impressed in goal. He looks like maybe the long-term goalkeeper, doesn't he? What's the Wales team for you? Who's come through and you thought, yes, they've got to be in the team? They've got a Sorba Thomas, maybe.
Sorba Thomas, I think if he improved his final ball, I would say yes, definitely, because he gives you an energy that regardless of who you're playing against and what position he's playing, he is always, he's at 90 mile per hour. So he is a really important player. I look at it, Ian, and think like there's no one who absolute outside of the Dan Jameses, the Brooksies, the Harry Wilsons,
Dylan Lawler's
Dylan Lawler's probably the one
in this campaign.
But I think he's broke through. But Dylan, I think he's a wonderful player. But I always say he still has to learn a bit more, be a bit stronger defensively.
We'll look at this conversation. We'll talk about this on Friday in more detail, because you're with us on Friday, aren't you, on Good Friday?
Right.
We've got to go.
Yes.
Thanks very much, Nathan. Thank you.
Cheers,
Danny Gabbidon for being with us. Good Friday, we're back. Wrexham, Swansea and Newport commentaries. Saturday, European Challenge Cup rugby. And then Easter Monday, Swansea, Cardiff and Newport commentaries. But that is it from us tonight. Larry Shawn is on the way after the latest 10 o'clock news with Matthew Webb. Bye for now.
This is Radio Wales on BBC Sounds, or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Wales.
BBC News for Wales at 10 o'clock. This is Matthew Webb.